It's another sunny day in the Bay Area. Welcome to Shared Bites. It's a show about sharing experiences both inside and outside of the gaming world. My name is Andy, and as always, I'm here with my buddy Justin. Justin, how are you doing?
Hi, you said that it's a sunny day. You didn't say it's a beautiful day. Do you prefer overcast?
I actually do. I don't like too sunny. I don't know. It
Same.
kind of gets, that's a
Yeah.
little much, but it's sunny. I guess it is beautiful when you think about it. But also we have a special guest today. His name is Gavin Howell, and he used to work with us at PlayStation. Gavin,
hey guys,
hi. How's it going?
it's going great. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for giving me the invite and giving me a chance to join.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for making the time. Do you want to kind of introduce yourself and give your, what you're up to these days to our lovely listeners?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm Gavin. I have worked with these two gentlemen here at PlayStation. Like, we worked together for a long time.
Yeah,
I think. Different departments, but we were at PlayStation for a long time. So, yeah, I was on business development, account management, all sorts of things like at Sony for the 10 years that I was there. Since 2022, I moved on and I'm at a company called Probably Monsters doing very similar things. I'm doing like business development, account management, partnerships, and just about anything else that needs to be done to make sure our games can launch as successfully as they possibly can. So the difference between like Sony and we're still sort of like in startup mode is just that I can kind of, my swim lanes have expanded quite a bit. And if there's something that needs to be done, I get the opportunity to be able to do it. So usually it's something on the business side, and it can range anything from like talking to our platform partners like PlayStation to making a deal with a musical artist to integrate their music into our game. So all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
So you can do all kinds of cool stuff. The only limit is your imagination.
Exactly.
Wow.
You can do anything at ZomboCon.
It's one of those types of things.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, whenever I hear the term or the phrase business development, it's just such a broad term that can mean literally anything.
It is. I mean, if you look at LinkedIn, it's like, oh, this person's a sales associate, like business development, meaning like I'm cold calling people asking if they want to buy like my shitty product. No, this is business development. I actually hate that word. It's really like, it's a combination of like partnerships and like doing whatever needs to happen to successfully have something happen that requires some sort of business input. That's it's such a broad, wide term. It doesn't really mean anything, does it?
Well, but the key is like, it has to be between like, what your company and the partner company, right? Is usually that's the case, right? You're kind of the connected tissue between two parties. Is that
pretty
safe
much?
To say?
Yeah,
okay.
That's a good way of putting it. And sometimes business development can also be like very internal stuff. It's like we need like an analysis done on a bunch of different companies, and I make recommendations on who we should partner with without actually having like gone through the motions of like onboarding partners or anything like that. So it all depends.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah,
your numbers guy.
Yeah, sometimes
you can be, right? Yeah,
I can be.
Well, but the key is like it's like really like if you do these internal kind of like analyses or whatnot, it's like with the goal of finding other businesses to kind of work with, right? It's not you're not there like, I don't know, figuring out HR stuff or like kind of hire. I mean, I guess maybe sometimes you will hire like people, but like, but I mean, like, I guess if you were to make a recommendation on, hiring more people, it'd be like kind of partnering with another studio, right? Or another thing, maybe, or group.
Exactly. It can range from, the way that I think about my core function, that my current role is, you've got traditional account management, right? So like I am the go-to person for anyone outside the company that is coming in asking for something usually goes through me. It can be like a platform partner like Sony, Nintendo, Xbox. It can be a tech partner like AMD or Intel or NVIDIA. It can be something completely different. So like we sort of are looking at maybe someday getting into like third-party publishing if our first-party games are successful, and I'm sort of the point person for like onboarding a bunch of partners for different games that we're looking at. That combined with like, let's say we've got some server forecasts that need to happen and no one really knows how to do server forecasting. So point to me like, well, I'll do it. Fuck it. I don't care.
What's server forecasting? Is that what it sounds like?
It's exactly. So let's say like for a multiplayer online game, if you want to have like dedicated hosted servers, you could go with cloud servers, you can go with bare metal servers, and
Basically saying like, we've got a new DLC dropping. We need to make sure that we're battening down the hatches and we don't have everything crashing.
Exactly. And the thing is like, I don't know anything about any of that stuff, but a lot of people don't. So it's like, well, okay, Gavin's done a bunch of stuff like this before for numbers and whatever. I can figure it out. Fuck it. Why not? So there's a lot of, I get to do I have a lot of freedom in my current role for anything that needs to happen. Like I said, anything that needs to happen. My goal is to like help make this company as successful as it possibly can be with the resources I have, which is me and my partner and relationships.
And I'm kidding.
Sometimes. So it's nice because there's like a ton of freedom. I have like a ton of freedom to be able to do whatever I see as like creating value. Unfortunately, I've been able to create a lot of value from what I can tell, and I'm still around. Been here for a couple of years now. And we're on the verge of launching some games that I think are actually like really, really cool. And hopefully it is very interesting being on this side of the world than compared to being at PlayStation. It's much, much different.
Interesting. Yeah. So you're basically a developer now, right? Because that is kind of a good term to use right now for developer.
Exactly. We're developer, publisher. We're a little bit of both.
Okay. But you're not the platform holder. So when we're at PlayStation, we're like the platform. We're like kind of the big, I don't know. Yeah, it's the mothership, wherever. I'm trying to use the spaceship analogy, but just it's kind of where all the games, all the publishers, all dev, they have to work with, because that's the kind of the interface that the players have, right? The players have PS5s, PS4, all the Sony products.
That's exactly it. Unless you're a crazy person who wants to create your own distribution platform, you need to go through Steam or Epic Game Store.
One day Gabe Newell was that crazy person, right? He just invented Steam out of when no one wanted it, and here we are. I mean, it's not to say no one wants Steam, but just it's wild.
Yeah.
So what's because it's a very different experience doing BizDev at at a smaller or publisher developer versus like a giant behemoth. Like Sony is huge, right? It's a corporation. Yes. How's that been? Is it much different? Would you say, because the terms are nebulous, it sounds like you can control your own destiny, but
in some ways there's a lot more challenges. The good thing about being at Sony is like everyone wants to talk to you. Like probably too many people. Like the number of times I would have like people reach out being like, hey, how do I get my game on your platform? What do I have to do? How do I get promoted? What
feels good, right?
It does. You feel important. So it's very different from being on the receiving end of like, oh yeah, I'll respond to your email a little bit later. I got a bunch of other priorities. Whereas if you're on the other side, I'm at a developer now, and we haven't launched, any games on Sony, for example, on Sony's platforms. We haven't launched any games on Xbox. And so it's interesting being on this side where I'm like, hey, I want to plan out like some of our marketing support. Like, how can we get like a PlayStation blog post, for example? How can we get, and I know how the inner workings are at Sony and how to actually like do it.
Yeah.
But it's different being on this side where I'm like, oh shit, let me work with our marketing team to be able to like carve out some very interesting, unique take to be able to get support we need from this platform and something else, another tidbit of info that we can put on this platform, because everyone wants their own unique story, right? That's how it works. And so, occasionally it's like I have to evangelize how that sort of works to a lot of our internal partners. And it can be, luck. The good news is I have a bunch of connections everywhere, right? And I leverage a lot of those connections. It's like I will just bother our account manager at the big three because they know me. I've worked with them for quite a while. But if you're coming in like without that knowledge of how things work internally, man, getting support can be really tough. You're sending a lot of emails. You're trying to like reach out to a lot of partners. You're getting a lot of like non-responses. So you have to be a little bit tenacious to be able to push through some of the barriers or make sure they, there's a lot, and when you're developing a game, the game's constantly changing. So the thing that we just showed PlayStation as example is now very different than it was 3 months ago. And we want them to see that because now it's even cooler, and where they didn't want to support it before, now maybe they will want to support it. And so there's this constant thing of like, let me make sure all of their game teams know that we are doing everything we can from a partnerships team to get their games in front of the big platforms, because that's how you get sales, right? You want to get your game on the platforms. You want to get them to organically support your game because they think it's cool and it's going to align with their audiences. And doing that whole dance where you're trying to convince them of this sort of thing it's not super easy. Because
it's funny, I had a similar experience where I work at a publisher now, and we had a story go out, and I was like, oh, I wonder if we could get PlayStation to like repost a thing. And I didn't want to look like I was trying to call in any favors, so I went by the book. I went through the appropriate channels and all that stuff, and it feels a lot different being on this side.
It sure does, right? Like you're the one making the decision of like, yeah, this is a cool angle for this blog, whereas when you're on the other side, you're like, please tell me you don't have anything similar like this that someone else is pitching and you will choose me instead of them. And so it's a competitive environment too, because you have to like be able to stand out compared to all the other people that are submitting similar things. And and you've got you just hope that you've got something cool the platform wants, and you got something cool that the audience is going to want. And
yeah, for sure. I mean, and speaking from, when we were at the platform side, it's like, I worked on the sort team, and like we got literally every single publisher developer asking for, they want stuff promoted, they want stuff on X, Y, and Z, like wherever. And it's overwhelming. It's like, it's not like all, sunshine and rainbows on the other side too, right? It's you're literally like underwater like every minute of the day, and it's it is hard to like figure that out.
Page placement on PlayStation Store.
And all the all the places where people see it, and it's fascinating how it's you sometimes you kind of lose the forest is it trees to the forest to the trees, but whatever it is, it's like when you're on the other side, when you're on the other side, like you're one of the trees and you're like waving a little tree branch, just hey, look at me. But do you find yourself, I guess, like trying to you're putting yourselves back in those shoes, right? You're like, oh, if we like pick a day where maybe we think they don't have more more availability or whatnot, or do you like find yourself second guessing that a lot, or you just kind of just go for it and see, like at this point you kind of have to focus on your own work?
I mean, I guess part of it is like you try so you can't be like, hey, what is big that's coming out? Give me the schedule of all the big stuff coming out so I can like work. So you can't really say that, but you can also be like, hey, we're thinking of doing this. Is there anything interesting happening around this time frame so we can pitch something that is in like so you ask for air traffic control, and sometimes you get like, Gavin, I can't tell you any of this stuff. Just do it. And sometimes you get like, don't do, you shouldn't.
Some hints.
Maybe pick a different day.
You're thinking of launch days and you're like, what about this day? And they're like, that's GTA's probably. You don't want to do that. So it all depends, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. Yeah, are you out there whining and dining people like back in the old days, or is that
busting out the company card?
Is that less of a thing now? I mean, I'm just curious. It's, we're in 2026 now, and I don't know.
So the fun thing is like not the one good. There's a ton of great things about having a job in the industry and getting to talk about video games all day, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I find a lot of joy in is like, as a partnerships person, I like people. I like working with people.
Yeah.
I like checking in on seeing how old friends are doing. And so for a lot of the partners, when you work with them, even just trading emails and seeing people at the same trade shows, like I'll see people that I have met maybe like 4 to 7 times in person, but it's like, well, shit, let's go hang out. Let's go grab lunch. And so, whenever there's a big show in town, so I'm up in Pacific Northwest. So whenever there's a big show in town, like at PAX, for example, I'm like, okay, I'm already like planning my lunches that I'm having with people like over the weekend that they're in town. And, it's less of like whining and dining, because I don't necessarily like want to meet with people to be like, what can I get out of this? What can I do? It's more of like, let's just see how you do. And if there's an opportunity that comes up, we can talk about it. I'll give you the update on everything that's happening with me. I'd love to hear more about what you've got going on. And then just kind of connecting as a human being instead of like as a businessy person trying to like extract value out of like every single relationship I have. And so
you're trying to pump your LinkedIn numbers.
Exactly. And and anyone that really knows me, for me, it's like I actually do genuinely care about like how people are doing and what they're up to, and hearing like shooting the shit with old friends. And shooting shit with new friends. And so like anytime there's anything that's like, if GDC is an example, it's like my schedule was absolutely insane because
I
I'm
remember,
just
I
like,
was asking.
yeah, because I'm
wall
just
to
like,
wall
I'm just meeting with
people.
friends. Like you can say it's like industry friends. Like I'm just meeting with anyone and everyone that I possibly can just to see how everyone's doing. Not because I'm trying to like get stuff out of them. It's more of like, yeah, let me just connect, see what people are doing. And in some ways, that's almost what like business development should be, is just like seeing how people do. And then if there's an interesting thing that can provide a value for both people, then you can talk more about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah. It's like you're not trying to do transactional relationships, right? You're not like, it's like the cold call, the example from earlier. Like those people are literally just, hey, what can you get for whatever? But it's
exactly.
But it's long term. Yeah. You're building relationships. You're building.
Yeah. That's what I like to do. It's great.
Because I feel like not every company gets that in terms of long-term relationship building. I mean, I'll just say that for like as a thing that happens now. Like, I mean, it sounds like, your current company is kind of supportive of that, right? They're kind of, they're letting you do your thing, right? They're not.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of the folks that I work with share that same general philosophy. So like my boss has been in the industry for 30 plus years. The guy knows literally everyone and anyone. And it's always kind of funny because when he and I go to meetings together, it's like, oh shit, we're going to see, Hector from PlayStation.
Yeah.
And, we both know him from different avenues, whereas he came from one thing and he's known him for 10 years. And I came from Sony and I've known him for 10 years. And then it's like a weird merging of worlds and stuff. And so I do think
friend groups.
I do think there's a lot of like similarities with the people I work with. It makes it a lot easier for me to be like, hey, I'm going to meet up with these people. And it's like, okay, Gavin knows what he's doing. He's just, it's all about relationship building. And, I think they all recognize that, those relationships carry over from company to company to regardless of where you are. Like I'm still going to keep in contact with the people I enjoy being around and hanging out with and whatnot, regardless of the company that I'm at. So I think there's a lot of like shared values in that sense. I think the company that I work for now is very understanding of just how the business works, because there's so many people at my company that have been in the industry for so damn long and have like a lot of those very similar relationships. So it's kind of nice. It's very, I'd say it's a lot more freeing than say if you were at a company that is like, you've got quotas to meet and you need to like make these deals no matter what. I think a lot of the people I know recognize that, sometimes you're going to be able to get into a state of play. Sometimes you're not. It all depends, as long as you have the relationships in place to be able to like ask about those things and have open conversations with platform partners. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. That's the reason. I mean, that sounds like reasonable expectations are kind of like the key here, right? But on everybody's side, like, you can't expect someone to, to blow the roof off every single time. But there's, I think there's some understanding that there's a lot that's out of our hands. So if like we have a game that is like X, Y, and Z, and a platform partner already has a partnership with a game that is X, Y, and Z, they're not going to ask for another game, and both games could be absolutely amazing. So it all depends. So luckily there's a lot of understanding there. Nice. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you're awesome, friendly guy, Gavin. Like who wouldn't want to be friends with you? Just like in general, like
look at that face.
Except for those teams in Marathon that we're trying to murder and whatnot, right?
Oh yeah. We'll talk later about our adventures in Bungie games, Marathon and Destiny.
Can't wait.
But that's gonna be a good time. But I mean, I think you can easily tell when like you see someone in a BizDev role who's not well suited for it because they're everything you're not, basically, right? They're transactional. They're kind of like kind of jerks, but they're a lot of different qualities there. What would you say? Is there anything like you would like kind of give advice to, like if someone's like a budding BizDev protege, like what kind of advice you would give them in terms of what it takes to succeed in your role? I mean, obviously being a nice dude and being able to be understanding and communicative.
It's interesting because I'm pretty soft spoken and I am very quiet oftentimes, and I'm pretty introverted for the most part. So, when I become friends with you, it's a lot different, right? We'll talk and we'll have lots of interesting conversations. But usually like in meetings, I tend to be a listener. I listen a lot. I take a lot of notes. I try and like understand who that I'm talking to, who I'm working with. I think a lot of times people are very quick to just like blurt out, like just insert themselves into conversations when, maybe it's worth like listening a little bit and finding out like what the social dynamics are before you sort of like interject yourself, right? If it's a one-on-one, it's a little bit different. You can be a lot more like open and honest, but I think honestly, when I form business relationships and through partnerships and whatnot, I like to think of it as strategic transparency. I like to be just pretty open and honest with potential partners or business colleagues or friends as I possibly can, with like a few limitations based on, things you need to protect from your own company or stuff that like a developer isn't ready to talk about yet. Like, so like, if I'm talking to Sony about some interesting stuff that a game is working on, and I know they're doing this really cool co-op feature that's going to be fucking awesome, but they don't want to talk about any of this stuff yet, I'll be very transparent about the game and how, all the features and mechanics of it. But I'll leave some of that stuff out. Or, if we're worried about certain things, I'll, but for the most part, it's all about being transparent, being yourself and being authentic. I think, whatever industry one is a part of, I think that it's important to have a passion for that particular industry to be able to talk authentically about it. It is interesting. I know we'll talk more about like the whole Bungie stuff, but at Sony, I was an account manager for on the Bungie side for I think it was 4 years. And I specifically wanted that job because I fucking loved Destiny. I loved Bungie games. Also it came with Blizzard and it came with like other Activision stuff. And I like all those stuff, and met some genuinely great humans along the way working on that account. But for me, I remember having like a conversation when I was like being sort of like onboarded into that role. And originally I was going to be put into like the EA group. I like EA games, BioWare, I'm a big fan. I'd be able to do it just fine. And the reason I was almost put in that role is because there was a concern from the head at the time, that there should be a little bit of separation. You shouldn't be that big of a fan of the game you're playing, because then you're, and so I made the alternate argument of like, okay, if you're a fan of a game and you have good enough business acumen, you can actually, instead of like just doing what the developer wants, as an example, like the concern was like, oh, Bungie's going to want to do this and you're just going to say yes to it without like, but no, I think understanding the nuances of any particular game or live service like ecosystem is incredibly important in building value for both companies, right? So like I would always look for like wins on both sides. I'm not just going to like be like, this is good for PlayStation and that's all we should all be caring about. No, we should want our partners to succeed. And by creating that success, we can help that. And so a lot of I ended up getting the role working on the Activision Bungie account. And, I like to think that a lot of like my passion, like for wanting to do cool stuff in the industry, helped me get like approvals to do like stuff that we otherwise wouldn't have. I remember breaking rules for like left and right of like, we should be able to like have a game key slipped into a package and distributed. At the time there was like rules of it's got to have like a physical CD in order to have a collector's edition sold. And it's like, I remember like arguing with poor Steve over in Europe, like so much about, no, we need to like get with the times. And to me, I think like my passion for like wanting me as a consumer would want that product. Right. And so me as the business rep, I want to make that happen. And so
you were there for a really long and exciting stretch too. Like a great stretch of Destiny history. What's one of the most like memorable, like periods during that time that you were working on? Any memorable events or situations that you remember?
Oh my God. When Bungie and Activision got their divorce, there are a lot. Probably can't go into too much of the technical details.
This will be public.
but yeah, the way Sony systems were created, there were challenges in decoupling that relationship on the technical backend side. And
interesting.
Whereas like the other platform, it was a lot simpler to do. And so, there were a ton of challenges with uncoupling that. And it was like a 6-month long project just to like make that happen and like patchwork over all of the issues with all of the various Sony systems to like make that work. And
like basically to change like the publisher, right? Or like the like kind of just broadly speaking, like that's that kind of like minor stuff that seems minor to a user, but
like it makes sense like on the back end transferring ownership of the product from one entity to another. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember a similar like snafu one time when they finally introduced the ability to change your username, and everybody was like, "Oh, finally! Why did it take so?" Well, because when it was initially built, it wasn't designed for that to be an option. So they had to kind of figure out a hacky workaround to make it work. So I'm not sure what the back-end solution was. But yeah, it wasn't as easy as just flipping a switch and saying like, okay, you can do it now.
This was exactly the case. And it's very much like that. And there were a lot of challenges. And sometimes things would happen where the system would completely break and data was accidentally sent to the wrong person. And yeah, we had to work through quite a bit. I think, there's the interesting thing was on that account specifically is like, I still keep in touch with like just about every single person that I worked with on the Bungie side. And it's been part of that is because like, one, I love the game. I would play game. I would do raids with those guys once in a while, and I would like we would play together and we would do stuff, and like those shared experiences continue on. And so now it's like, GDC every so often I'll see quite a few of the team. Since I'm like local to there, it's like, oh, let's go grab lunch in Bellevue and we'll do that. So
nice.
Wait,
so going back to the story, like was there anything more fun than changing a back end thing? I just want to give you that.
I wouldn't say that was fun. That was memorable. It was a memorable fucking nightmare.
But you got through it. I mean, I could attest to the nightmare of Sony back end software or whatever thing, but it was a big win.
Fun wise, it's like we would have these ridiculous 8 a.m. meetings, and we had to be 8 a.m. because we had folks in Europe join, and it was the only time everyone would all work together, and everyone fucking hated 8 a.m. meetings on a Thursday. But we would have fun with it. So they would actually be surprisingly fun 8 a.m. meetings where we're just, in some ways it's like friends talking about cool shit we can do together and brainstorming interesting things to try and like boost this game as much as it possibly can. Right. And, so we would review data at 8 a.m. on a Thursday morning, talking about what some of this stuff means and like how we go about improving certain numbers here and there on the platform, and thinking of all these weird like ideas and, talking about like, how can we do like this web version of the timeline that would like bring new players up to speed on everything that's happening. And so there's just all those like meetings that, people have in business settings were surprisingly fun. Cause in some ways it's like, I'm getting to see my, business friends,
your buds.
Turns out once in a while people like to have fun.
And we're going to talk about video games, and we're going to talk about like, how things can be improved. So to me, it's not necessarily like one particular moment in general. It's like a bunch of different ones. I will say like one of the cool things that they had done was like one of the things that I got sent was like Hawkmoon up there.
Ooh, Hawkmoon, exotic hand cannon from
yeah. So they had, after
Gavin showed,
I think was it like after we launched Shadowkeep, where Bungie was on their own, and in some ways there's some challenges, right? Because they were under Activision's doing like all the publishing, and now we had to like re-educate all of the Bungie people on how to do the publishing. And besides like the divorce, that was that whole second part of it. And when they sent that over to me, it was like, holiday timing, like sent it over. I was like, dude, that's like one of the most special things. It's like I've been sent from a partner that was like absolutely incredible. And so, awesome. I just think like I have a bunch of good, like I loved working with that team. And so, a lot of good memories.
No, it's great. It's great when you get to work with people who actually like the same things you do, meaning like the same video game, the same project. And because because you guys actually like and care about it and you want to make it better. And if it's, if you have to look at spreadsheets at 8 a.m. on a Thursday to have that be the basis of whatever, but at least you guys are thinking about stuff for like cool stuff to make a cool game even cooler.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah, and it's something that's kind of, it's not necessarily, you can't take that for granted. I'd see like I feel and I'm sure all of us have worked with other people and other companies or other studios or other businesses, even the same, that don't have that same like shared I guess love for the game in terms of like firsthand, and it makes a difference. Like that's way less fun than actually being able to speak the same language.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, speaking of sharing experiences, we at Share Bytes do share our experiences too, both inside and out. I mean, Gavin, I'm sure you've done a lot of cool stuff outside in gaming. If you want to talk about something inside of gaming, is there anything you want to like? What have you been into recently? Anything, could be a game, could be a thing. Like,
so do you guys ever like read or listen to like sci-fi fantasy books or anything like that? Because let me tell you,
I'm not the best at reading, but I'm trying to be better at it. I've been
don't worry.
Can you read?
when I say reading, a lot of my reading these days is just listening to audiobooks.
This is interesting. So wait, real quick aside, do you guys consider listening to audiobooks, quote unquote, reading? Is there, or do you guys like put a difference between those two activities?
It's two ways of getting the same information. Like I feel like it counts as reading, even if it's not technically like looking with your eyes. I think it counts.
That's kind of how I view it. I mean, I know it's not really reading, right? Like, and you absorb things differently, right? If you're listening to it versus, but I for me, it's like if I'm like listening to like a weird sci-fi book, like I don't need to retain everything. I'm good. And so it's like, to me, it's a lot different than if I was like studying something in particular, if I'm like reading a textbook or something like that, or a primary source, right? So when it comes to like reading, like just, I don't have much time.
I used to think that audiobooks felt like cheating. But like, yo, you're not really reading, you just listen to the audiobook. But like, I don't know. I've gotten to a point in my life where like, who cares? That's a pretty gatekeepy way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I would say this came up because I was listening to another podcast recently, and like people were kind of arguing over like, is the listening to audiobook counting? Because somebody like padded their numbers for I've read like 30 books this year so far in the last 2 months, and it's like mostly audiobooks. And I think that's, and the other people were like, I think
there's an asterisk
literally cheating.
I think that if you're bragging about the number of audio, if you're bragging about how much you've read, then you need to disclose that it was an audiobook.
Yeah. And I don't think, I think it's not the same thing. And to your point, I think I agree that if it's, I think fun sci-fi, fan, or whatever it is, like a fiction book, then listening to audiobook is kind of listening to like a podcast or a narrator. You don't really need to read that. But if if it's like a doctor or a lawyer in law school, like I kind of want them to actually read these, like, texts to make sure that they understand everything. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, quick aside, but yes,
totally fair. I mean, it's funny because at the end of the day, it's like I have heard people be like, "Oh, well, it's not really reading," and it's like, well, I don't really care. I'm getting the same thing out of it that I would if I were to like be sitting there, like in a quiet time in a quiet book, in a corner, like reading. Like instead, I'm walking my dog and getting exercise and shit while I'm doing
I think
all this stuff,
if you're able to listen to while you're doing something else, I think that's kind of the key there. It's like if you're walking your dog or cleaning the house for something like fiction, makes sense.
Exactly. And so
sorry, that was a quick aside, but like yes, I personally don't read a lot of sci-fi. I read less fiction nowadays because my fiction quota is met by either video games or movies. I feel like I'm getting those, so I read a lot more nonfiction in that sense.
That's fair.
But the last book I read was, I think, Project Hail Mary, which I'm trying to read. I'm halfway through it right now. That's a great book. It's the last sci-fi book I've read. But it sounds like, have you read sci-fi? Is that where you're getting at?
Yeah. So there's a couple things. The reason that so I have a 15-year-old son. Mm-hmm. And this kid reads more than any person that I've ever known. Like reads, not listens.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not like audiobooks. And
great.
So he's reading
garbage.
Yeah, not this. Not the shit dumb dad does. But no, he. So in order to like stop him from just like constantly wanting to play video games or constantly like wanting entertainment and to be like watching TV or whatever. Like if I put like a good book in front of him, he'll just like sit there and devour it.
That's awesome.
And so once in a while, what I do is like, my wife looked up, she's like, what is the longest sci-fi like fantasy book that we can put in front of him? Because he's very much into it. Like that will take up like, you know, a certain amount of time that, so he'll read, you know, and it's like, he's read like a bunch of long Stephen King books and whatnot. But we had started him reading, Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive series. And it's like, dude, these books are like 1,500 pages each. They're so long. They're so long.
My wife is really into Sanderson's, the whole Cosmere. She's
was that the one
to a lot of it?
Was that the series your wife was recommending to me a couple months ago, Justin?
Yes, I think
or was
so,
it okay? Because I remember there was a series that I wrote it down, but I forgot the exact name. But okay,
So
I think I have a feeling Gavin is about to explain more about it.
Okay.
So I won't get into too much, but I finally finished book 5.
Oh, so you've read too. You're not just putting it in front of your son.
Well, the thing was, he was like, Dad, you got to read this. Dad, come on, you got to read it. It's so good. It's so good. And I'm like, okay, I want to connect with my kid, make sure I understand everything that's going on in his life. So I listened. It took me a year to listen to these 5 audiobooks. They're like 60 hours each practically. And it's like,
it's like
300
hours.
Dude, I walk my dogs every day. Like that one, you can't see her, but she's like, I take them out. I do like 1 to 2 miles. I have 2 dogs. I walk them separately because they bark at rabbits and shit up in the Pacific Northwest. They go nuts if they're together. So I take them out one at a time and I listen to audiobooks when I do this. It took me a whole year to finish this series, but I will say
Sanderson's a machine.
It was, I don't know how the guy writes as much as he possibly does. They were a very rewarding experience. Like 5 books, you know, at the end, I didn't realize it was like part 1 of 2. So he's got another 5 books that are coming out in like 2031 or something like that. But yeah, they're great. Highly recommend them. I guess Apple TV is going to be making a show out of it. I don't know how they're possibly going to be.
Apple TV optioned the whole Cosmere. That universe, they can do stuff with it now.
Yeah. And so the thing is, like, I don't listen to audiobooks nearly as fast as my son reads. So he churned through those 5 books. And so I'm like, okay, well, there's like 9 Mistborn books. So I bought him these 9 Mistborn books. He's already fucking finished them. And now he's like, Dad, you got to listen to these next. And so now I have like another year's worth of listening to things while I catch up with him on all the audiobooks.
I want to listen to Mistborn. When I said I'm trying to be better about reading, that is the audiobook that I started trying to listen to. And I
Is
really
it the same author?
Yeah, Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah.
I really am I'm bad at reading. The reading that we have been doing, we read to our son every night at bedtime, and we are currently halfway through the 2nd book in a fun series called Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians, written by Brandon Sanderson.
Wait,
so
really? Same
we
guy,
are
same
reading through. It's a little bit of every once in a while he pulls back the curtain a little bit, and you can see that it's totally just like him poking fun at Harry Potter. But it's very much like a kid realizing he has powers and going on adventures and rescuing people. And
so it's more of a children's book, or sorry, a younger kid's book.
Young adult, yeah. So I mean, we're reading it to our 5-year-old. So it's him taking a stab at like some young adult stuff. So it's maybe a little above his age range, but we're reading it to him, and it's been a lot of fun. But that makes me want to again go back and give Mistborn another shot.
So I don't know anything you're talking about right now. Give me a quick description of both, I guess, the Stormlight Archive and then the Mistborn. Like, and this is all sci-fi fantasy or just sci-fi, like straight up sci-fi? I'm talking like Dune sci-fi or like
less Dune sci-fi, more Lord of the Rings sci-fi,
fantasy.
But different magic systems and things like that. So
it's all like metal based in.
Sorry, so this is fantasy. Sci-fi is like well. Is this more fantasy in terms of like Lord of the Rings? Like, you know,
I think it's like more fantasy
and
than sci-fi.
Wizards and sword. Okay.
Less expanse, more, you know. Although
Game of Thrones.
there are it does sort of turn into sci-fi stuff.
There's also like cosmic level stuff going on.
Okay. It's a little Star Warsy stuff where it's like people are dueling with swords, but it's in space somewhere, or it's through space, or it's in other planets and other stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
Somebody asked him, what is the Cosmere one time? And he said, well, it's a pocket universe like it's literally a galaxy, and we've got this many planets, and then the stories take place across these different planets. Like it's actually a thing. Like it's not just some nebulous like idea. It's
okay. So he's got thought
interesting that he has an actual answer for that.
Okay, that's cool. Is Sanderson? Is he like an interesting guy? Is he like? Is he like a weirdo, or is he like? Is he a good?
Just type his name into YouTube. He's done a lot of really interesting talks. One about AI recently, actually, about how I think his thesis for the talk was like, you are the art. Like your struggles in creating the art are the art. That human experience of learning how to do something and the process of learning how to create it and that finished product. That's the art, not plugging a prompt into a machine and it's spitting something out and you saying you made it. So he presents that argument a lot more eloquently than I just did. But I would recommend looking Brandon Sanderson's talk up on YouTube.
Okay. Cool. Oh yeah. No, I'm a little curious now that both of you are talking about this guy. So I'm just kind of
interesting dude. For
but
sure,
it is. I am intimidated by, you mentioned like 1,500 page books. Like, do you actually find it was worth it, Gavin? Did you actually like listening to it? Or I know because you have love for your son, but also is it would you have done this otherwise?
I probably would have. So I actually listened to the first book when he was a little baby.
Wow.
Yeah. So it first came out. Like I think I don't know. When the first one came out, like 2012 or 2013. Anyway, he was a little guy at the time, and I was just listening to stuff anyway. Listened to it, and then waited until the rest of them came out, and I just happened to wait forever before they finally came out. I waited 14 years before I dove into the rest of them. But yeah, they've been out for a little while now.
Okay. A little 10 years. Okay.
I would say yes, it was worth it. It kept me in some ways motivated to keep walking the dogs and getting exercise for myself, because
you were in the story,
just sitting around. Yeah. So I was into the story. They're worth it. They're really good. I wouldn't say it's my favorite of all time. But I would say it's it's pretty solid if you want to have a really good epic fantasy-based storytelling with interesting magic
systems. You're talking specifically about the Stormlight archive, right? You haven't started Mistborn yet?
Not yet. That's on my list. So next up, I'm so James S.A. Corey, the guy who did the Expanse series. That's my favorite series probably of all time.
Okay.
He's got it's a combo of it's two writers, I guess, under the same pen name. He's got a new series called The Captives' War. The second book came out earlier this year, I think in April, and I'm now that I finished the one for the kid, I'm going to read the second one. Listen, I'm going to listen to it while I walk.
Sure.
The second one, and then I'll probably do Mistborn. So Mistborn's, I have the Mistborn on audiobook. Yeah. So that's coming next, but I'll get to it. My son has told me all about the magic system. Sounds really interesting, Justin. It's a little bit different from the Stormlight Archives magic system, but still very unique. Not what you would traditionally expect of casting spells. No, there's rules and stuff all about it.
Is there a video game here somewhere? I feel like this sounds like
I was
going
to say Brandon
game.
Sanderson has expressed interest recently in bringing this universe to video games. And I was going to ask Gavin if he has any thoughts on what kind of game would that system lend itself to, do you think?
It's
good question.
I don't know, man.
A roguelike deck builder? Sorry.
I mean,
we don't have enough of those.
I mean, it could be. I mean,
if you, I feel like it's the type of thing that can be adapted to a bunch of different games. It can easily be a Civ type 4X strategy game that it would work perfectly for that. It could also be a single player or multi-character story based, when you think of when you think of a God of War type game that has all these different things, and there's definitely the story itself lends itself to RPG elements of building your character up, because the characters grow in power over time. There's this overarching war that's happening. It could be, I guess the equivalent that it could be would be a Warhammer 4K sort of
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Wow. Where there's different types of games that do everything. Where
a whole universe where you can jump in and experience different aspects of it.
Yeah. That's because, over the course of the stories, it's not just one little area anymore. It constantly expands, and then it goes into different sort of planes of existence, and so there's like tons of different things you can get into with it.
Okay.
Which makes me wonder how in the world they're actually going to make this into a television show. No idea. So complicated.
My thinking is they'll probably just pick out zero in on one aspect or one story within this giant thing and then see where it goes from there. But
Did the Expanse show work well? Have you guys seen that? Or I don't know, sorry, maybe Gavin, if you've seen that, has it worked well? Because I've never seen the show. I've never read the books. I don't know if it's
okay. So the what's the guy's name that does the audiobooks? Like one of the best audiobooks narrator I've ever heard. His name's, I can't think of his name right now, but if you listen to the audiobook of The Expanse, is absolutely amazing. The guy, he needs to be in more stuff, whoever it is. From interviews that like the two guys that are James S.A. Corey, it's almost like a different sort of universe, right? You're not going to get all of the good stuff all in the show. The show leaves out a ton of stuff, but the show is actually like really good on its own. I probably would have like changed some of the casting decisions, but aside from that, like it's pretty solid for
solid intro. Yeah.
For a show that like jumped between multiple different networks. It's surprisingly consistent.
Wasn't there a game too?
Oh yeah. Well, there's going to be there's two. So there's the Telltale version, which takes one of the characters and sort of focuses on her journey. It's one of those ones that I bought that I haven't played yet. And then there's the game coming out. I think just early access sort of just came out. Like what's it called? Osiris something, like Expanse Osiris. I don't remember. I should know this.
Osiris Reborn.
Yeah.
Games.
It looks like a BioWare sort of like Mass Effect. It looks like someone took Mass Effect and just made an Expanse game out of it, which, hey, I'm all for. Looks
even the art, like
good.
The key art on their page for it looks like Mass Effect art.
Yeah. So if you're going to rip something off, it might as well be
wearing the influences on its sleeve for sure. Yeah.
So it sounds like the show is and the games are pretty, or I guess if you play the game, but the show is kind of a good slice of it's a good showcase of the universe or the world building, but it's not necessarily like the end all be all, like, one after. And it sounds like these worlds for both the Stormlight Archive and for the Expanse are like, they're such rich built out worlds that there could be so many different ways people could experience this, right? So it's not necessarily it's not like there's like only one adaptation that could work. It could be like, so that's kind of cool though. That's kind of like, I think that's the stuff that studios and stuff dream of, right? This IP that just lets you print multiple different iterations and different games and episodes and stuff.
Yeah, it's honestly kind of surprising there haven't been any Brandon Sanderson adaptations yet whatsoever, especially because like all these big companies are buying up as much as they possibly can. So it's really, I'm excited to finally see it.
What? Yeah. Okay, so last question on this: which game would you want to play first? If you had your druthers and like somebody could make this type of game first for the Stormlight Archives. Do you have one that's kind of like, would you rather play the adventure or the open world game or the deck building Gwent to like start this magic?
Do you want it to be a Witcher game or
shooting off the hip? Yeah.
Go the other direction.
Gwent.
I would definitely love a Witcher style game. For sure. I think
CD Projekt Rich adventure.
Yeah. I'll call up CPR and just see if they can make this happen. I'll see.
Yeah, why not? BizDev guy, make it happen.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean the thing is like producing something like that, pretty expensive. I am curious if anyone would want to take the risk. I don't know if you'd have to start smaller just to test the IP in the video game world, but I think it would like absolutely work. And the interesting thing is like, for sure. And it's like I remember in my YouTube feed randomly, because I watch a lot of video game stuff and whatnot. It was like, Brandon Sanderson's playing Elden Ring. And he was like,
okay, sure.
Put him playing through, like talking about how much he enjoyed it and why he enjoyed it and like understanding the nuances and mechanics of it. And if he's like part of the team that's adapting his book into a video game, like guy seems obviously smart enough to be able to actually like make all that stuff happen and has least a rough design sense to be able to translate like the game's writing into like how it would work within a game. So yeah,
in that talk that I mentioned earlier, the TED talk that Brandon Sanderson did, he mentions the classic argument from Roger Ebert about how video games cannot be art. He specifically talks about that and tears down that argument. He's like, he definitely knows video games and has been plugged into the industry for a long time.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I want to see a Witcher style
Stormlight
archive game.
For the first of many, hopefully.
The first of many.
Made by CD Projekt Red or whatever. Nice. I want to share something that I've done recently. I did it on Friday, which was I saw Backrooms, the new A24 movie.
I'm this close to going to see it.
By Kane Parsons. Gavin, Justin, we talked. You've heard about this movie before. Gavin, have you heard about this movie? Do you know much about it?
Yeah. Surprisingly, it's very popular amongst high school kids. So
yeah, that's what I hear. Did your son go to see it? Did you take him to go see it?
Not yet. We ended up seeing Mandalorian this weekend, but we might. I'll probably see it sometime soon. He's been talking about it.
Is he into it? Has he into like the lore and stuff? And does he
not really? Like I don't know how much he's into it or how much it's like his friends are like, dude, you got to see this.
Yeah. So interesting. Okay. I'm only curious because
he doesn't tell me everything. I'm just happy when he tells me something. So.
Fair enough. Yeah. He's of the age where, you take what you can get basically when he wants to share something. I bring it up as it's a good segue because Kane Parsons, he's now 20 years old. He was 16 when he started making this web series on the YouTubes, the Backrooms, which is wild to think about, right? Like 16. And then he directed this feature-length movie when he was 19. Like the last couple of years.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Which is incredible. And it's a movie that's kind of like what you described about the Expanse in that this movie is basically a slice of this world that he's kind of built over the course of many years. And which his verse, so the Backrooms, just as a quick thing, and I went into this lore the other day. That's why I'm like kind of know about this right now because I got into this. The Backrooms started, I think, as like a creepypasta post on 4chan in like 2019, where like someone's like, yeah, if you no clip into outside of reality into like the Backrooms, this happened. Blah, blah. But it's the Backrooms based like these liminal spaces where it's just endless rows of hallways with like this gross like fluorescent lighting and like this yellow like wallpaper that just looks so bland, and it goes, it's endless, and there's obviously some creatures and like stuff that happens inside there. There's a lot of lore, there's a lot of rules in it, but yeah, it's been going on for 4 years, I think. For 4 years, this web series, and each of the videos in the web series is a different length. Like some of them are 15 minutes, some of them are 2 minutes, some of them are 30 seconds. And each one of them just like shows like a snippet. A lot of it's like found footage. So it's like, if you remember the Blair Witch Project, where back in the day we had these camcorder footage that people found, and that was that. A lot of it's told through that kind of venue, which is crazy because he actually made those web shorts in Blender. So it's like a free 3D rendering software. Really? Huh. Yeah. So he's like, I think during COVID and whatever, he like learned that and made these videos in there. But it's kind of a cool way for him to, make these films or make these videos without much budget at all, really. Cool. But it's interesting because it's not like your traditional scripted web series where it's like, there's actors and there's like a beginning, middle, end. A lot of them are just, some of them are like ads. Like there's a company called Async, which is like this they used to make MRIs, and they're mysteriously kind of exploring the Backrooms, and they're like doing these experiments, and there's guys in hazmat suits. It's very Portal coded, which was interesting because I listened to an interview with Kane the other day, and he basically said Portal is like his biggest like reference point for a lot of this stuff. He's a kid that grew up on Portal, which is kind of like us when we were a little older, but like we also played Portal. I'm sure everyone here played Portal, right? Just double checking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, one of our favorite games.
Portal 2 is like top 3
2.
Favorite games ever.
It's up there too for me.
Yep. Loved Portal 2. Yeah, and you can tell like with this Kane, the director, he's like, he loves Portal. He's like, yeah, Portal 2 is one of my favorite games ever. He just like devoured every second of it. So there's a lot of Portal reference in this movie or this world. Like I could see like it being almost video gamey in that there's like all this first person like kind of walking through all these corridors and like stuff happens. And
I was not interested in this originally, but after hearing that comparison before, you see, you literally got the eyebrow raised.
I got the eyebrows, yeah. And like this company Async, it reminds me of the oh my gosh, what was the Aperture? It reminds me of Aperture Inc. It reminds me of the G-Man in Half-Life.
Like
he's also on record.
SCP Foundation type stuff.
What's that foundation?
Are you familiar with the SCP Foundation?
What is that again?
It's like a website. You Google SCP Foundation, and it's like a database. They have entries for like exhibit 47A, like subject is extremely irritated by light, do not open door, like and weird stuff, just like these records of like things that shouldn't exist, like this secret foundation that is built to contain these things that shouldn't exist, kind of like Control. I think Control was very like influenced by the SCP Foundation.
So is this related to Portal or Half-Life, or no? This is separate thing. SCP Foundation.
Yes, it just the Backrooms stuff is reminding me kind of the Backrooms talk is reminding me a little bit of SCP Foundation stuff, like similar vibes.
Okay, so that's a separate thing, right?
It's a different thing, but it's like in that same realm. It sounds similar to that kind of thing.
It does, yeah. I'm like halfway through watching the Backroom web series. I think there's like 23 of them. I mean, they're really short. There's like, like I said, it's been 30 seconds and like 15 minutes for each of the clips.
Do you think it's best to go into the movie like as blind as possible, though?
I could see it going either way. I went in the movie blind. I had no idea any of this stuff existed. Like I it looked cool, so I just wanted to see the movie. Cool. I had a free ticket too, so why not? I'll tell you this: the movie made me want to go back and watch all this lore, which I think is a good takeaway. Right? It makes you like really curious of what's going on, because the movie itself, I think the weakest parts are probably the script and like the characters. They're good. They're decent enough. They're not like bad, but you're there because when you see them explore these back rooms, it's so like enthralling. It's so, you just want to see them do this forever. And like he like walks these corridors. It's like the sense of discovery. There's like weird shit that happens. There's like
interesting,
all this stuff that makes you curious more. We want to find out more. And I think that's why it's been so popular. Maybe with the younger generation too, is that it's like this time capsule of like isolation from COVID, from like being stuck in without people, like kind of stuck alone, and it plays on those themes of just this isolation, and you're like walking these like rooms that may or may not exist with memory, like this like empty abandoned malls is the motif, right? Or empty abandoned suburbia, like stuff that's grew up. It's and it allows for so many people to have different takes on it. So he's not the only take on the Backrooms. There's like a lot of these. He said like he has a Discord server. All these people like make their own entries into the lore. So it's just like this big space. To kind of like Gavin, you're talking about this. There's a lot of lore world building for the Sanderson books, and it's kind of like that. It's just like almost like a group. It's like a crowdsourced lore like that's kind
really
of been added upon. Yeah, right. It's like I had no idea this existed, but. Yeah, but I think with Kane, this new movie though, I think his biggest thing is he's such a good director, like visionary. Like he's clearly talented, because he the way he shows this stuff in real life, because he, the web series is made in Blender, but the movie is all real. It's all they built these sets, they built like practical creatures and whatever. And the fact that he could translate that into a real life like movie is actually pretty incredible. And there's some really cool shots in the movie when you see it. Like it's some really like just amazing stuff that is just impressive for anybody, much less a 19-year-old, right? Or someone who's like half our age. It's like, wow. Like, so I'll say that, it was really cool. And like, it's kind of like a new, it's like in this line of like fantasy lore, but this is a little, I guess, horror, almost sci-fi horror kind of realm. But but the reference points are video games too. Like Justin, you mentioned the TED talk that Sanderson was given. Like Kane, the director, he clearly understands video games. He's raised on video games, and the fact these new directors, these new kind of storytellers, are fluent in multiple types of media. Right? They're not just there's only movie directors or only TV directors. They can figure out first person narratives or interactive narratives. And I think that's really cool. That you got someone who gets everything, right? And there's like games I think they've been made of with this lore, not official games, but given the motif, I think there's a lot of stuff out there. But I'd be curious to see like if he or his team or his team or whoever kind of takes this phenomenon and makes it a thing. Because this movie was a huge phenomenon over the weekend. I don't know if you guys saw, but it made I think $85 million domestically and 115 globally. I mean, it's probably will pass Mandalorian and Grogu in gross. Like
that's nuts.
At like 1/10 the price or 1/15 the price. It's a kind of a phenomenon. So that's kind of a big thing in music.
I mean, I wonder if we're going to see more of stuff like this, right? Because you've had what was it, Markiplier's movie that came out a couple months ago.
Yeah.
How long until the Skibbity
surprised everyone?
I think they're already making that.
Are they?
I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere. Yeah, I mean, and so yeah, to your point, Gavin, yes, it already has. Like last week or 2 weeks ago, there's a movie called Obsession. Have you guys heard of Obsession?
I want to watch. I've been hearing great things.
Obsession is incredible. I think it's a better movie than Backrooms, but it's so good. This is also a horror movie that cost it cost less than $1 million, $750,000, by a young 26-year-old director.
How much of a horror movie is it?
It's
because I don't really like horror movies, but like Backrooms, I'm close enough where it's horror-ish, right?
Yeah, it's my friend. Yeah, I don't. Backrooms is not as well. Yeah, it's not horror. I know. Sorry, it's horror, but it's not like. I think
it's more like it's more psychological, right?
Obsession. I think it's it's funny because I would actually say it's a rom-com, but it's there's a lot of gore, there's a lot of violence, and there's a lot of like disturbing scenes in it. I'll say. But it's incredible.
Maybe if I'm feeling brave, I'll give it a shot.
It's so good. I think anyone like if you should watch the movie even if you don't like horror movies. It's so good. It's not afraid to do what it does. The performances are amazing. It makes you think about, I guess, it makes you think about stuff like kind of the way society is with. Do you guys know much about the movie? Sorry,
no.
No, yeah,
no. Okay,
haven't heard of it.
It's about it's the magical part. It's about this guy who finds a one wish willow, where basically you can make one wish, and he kind of makes like a monkey paw wish to have this girl like him, like or this girl like he had a crush on this girl, and he wants to make sure sorry, I think his wish was like for her to love him more than anybody else, and you can guess where this goes. So it kind of takes that into its logical conclusion, but it's really well done. It's like. From start to finish, incredible movie. But this movie like outgrossed Mandalorian Grogu last week with like it actually went up 40% in ticket sales from week 1 to week 2.
Wow.
And then it went up again the third week to like 25. This is like unprecedented. The movies usually do not go up in gross. They always go down by a lot.
Is it all is it all word of mouth? Is it all people just realizing it's good?
It's mostly word of mouth. People are seeing this and they're going, this is amazing. And it's a lot of it's the younger like teenagers and 20-year-olds like seeing this movie and telling their friends they have to see it. Like
are the movies back, Andy?
The movies are back. I think they're back. These 2 movies are back to back. Like they're like to Gavin's point. This is a thing that's happening now. I think this is a big thing in the industry the movie industry where it's like it feels like a revolution. It feels like a big kind of like changing of the guard because you got all this is happening while Mandalorian Grogu Star Wars just came out 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So I think it's which I actually saw. What did you think, Gavin? Just real fast.
So. I before I went, I try not to look at like reviews or anything like that for stuff that I'm going to see so I can like form my own opinions. It's always interesting when you see a movie that has really low critic score, really high audience score. Yeah. So that sort of like helped me set my mind going into it of like, okay, this is going to be like a popcorn flick where it's going to be fun and it's going to be silly, suspend my disbelief and just go along for the ride. And I think with that context, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was like pretty straightforward. I mean, you can kind of tell they took elements that were supposed to be of, without getting into any spoilers or anything.
Well, yeah,
it feels like a couple. It feels like a couple different episodes, sort of like smushed together of like what the TV show was. But I didn't mind because it was like, oh, they're resolving. Okay, so they're resolving this, and now it's the next part of the adventure. And
it's just an adventure. Yeah,
that's probably why they like the marketing was kind of all over for it, but. I enjoyed it. I just buckled up and was like, okay, we're going to see.
I thought that it was a perfectly satisfactory entertainment unit.
Oh, you saw it too, Justin? Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Did your son like it, Gavin? Just for that, just the teens. He
did.
Okay.
Yeah. He loved it. And it's one of those things where I'll check in with my brothers to see. Sometimes they'll take their kids. Sometimes they'll see stuff, and like I'll often complain about movies and whatnot. But I was like, dude, I liked it. What'd you guys think? And both their kids are all obsessed with Grogu, so of course, like the whole family's just fucking loved it. But yeah,
he's very cute. He's very cute.
Yeah, he's adorable. And those other little dudes, I forgot what they're called, but the
little repair dudes,
mechanic guys.
Yeah,
great.
They have names. We don't know.
Yeah. It's like, they were satisfying Ewok replacements, right?
Yeah, pretty
basically.
Much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I agree. I think it was just literally a point A to point B to point A to point B movie where it's just one long thing. I thought it was a little. I mean, I thought it was perfect. It was like fine watching through it, but I got a little bored honestly because it was the same. People are just constantly rescuing each other from out of nowhere.
Fighting, rescue, fighting.
Right, fighting, rescue.
It
Yeah,
really
was like,
did just feel like sitting through 3 episodes of
It's
the
like
TV
a
show,
TV, yeah.
and by halfway through the second one, I was like, all right,
yeah, it's
I'm ready for this to start wrapping up.
yeah.
It was-
I was
it
like,
was fine,
I was fine after the first hour. I'm like, oh, there's more of this. And just the funny thing is that I was saying like you can't spoil this movie because nothing happens in it. Like at the end, it's the same thing. You don't learn nothing about Grogu or Mando. Nothing actually happens. You're just rescued.
It's just an adventure. That's all
it's
it
just an
is.
adventure. It's just a wild adventure.
It's
okay,
kind of like
cool.
when there's an anime and then there's like a movie that comes out after the fact and it's set like right before the end of the show so that they can do whatever they want and there are no stakes. It's kind of like that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a side. It's literally like a side story where nothing happened. Yeah,
Yeah. There's no
Mandalorian
character growth.
guidance.
yeah. I don't know. I think I expect more from my Star Wars movies now because I wanted something like a real Star Wars movie, and this is clearly just like a side story and whatnot. But yeah, I'm curious. Well, it's interesting to hear that your son loved it or liked it at least because I think that was the worry. I think the industry is like, or the changing of the guard is basically like, oh, these like there's 2 amazing new horror movies that are really creative, really like completely original. They're by 20-year-olds, and they're like both of them are like going to surpass the gross of a Star Wars movie that had cost 100 times more to make. And
That's nuts.
it's kind of the changing of the guard. Where like this old franchise that's kind of like the safe story, whereas like there's new interesting stuff happening. So yeah, it's a moment. But yeah, I highly recommend both movies. Backrooms is more of a vibe, so I think it's more of a vibe movie. Obsession is actually an amazing movie from start to finish. It's really entertaining. It's a hoot. There's some violent stuff in it, so just a lot of some gore, some some disturbing scenes, let's say. But it is very good.
I watched a really good movie that had some blood and gore in it.
Ooh, what did you see?
It's called Yojimbo, and it's about, 60 years old, 70 years old at this point?
Oh,
something
is
like
that the Akira Kurosawa movie?
Akira Kurosawa. Yeah, I saw, who was it? Mitch Dwyer, I think, posted something on Blue Sky about watching it, and I was like, I've never seen that. So I watched it. So I watched it, and it was excellent. I've never seen a Kurosawa film. That was my first time watching a Kurosawa film, and I mean, it becomes apparent that it's the template for lots of tropes that you see. Like, I guess it's pretty well known that A Fistful of Dollars with Clint Eastwood is basically like the same story as Yojimbo. It's a guy wandering into town and setting the two, both kind of dirtbag factions against each other, basically. Really great movie, really fun, great action sequences and great performances. Like, it's crazy how the side characters almost seem like cartoony, some of them, even way back then. Like, they were doing some cool stuff, doing lots of characterization with different archetypes and stuff. But I am very excited to watch more Kurosawa films. I want to watch Seven Samurai, and I want to watch The Hidden Castle.
Check out that one.
The Hidden Castle, I have found out, was like a direct inspiration for Star Wars, the original Star Wars.
Or a inspiration. I'm sure it was the only inspiration.
A inspiration,
Yeah.
A major inspiration. It's about 2 peasants helping get a princess across enemy lines or something like that. I read the brief synopsis. I haven't actually watched the movie yet, but I read like, it's a trivia thing wherever it's like, George Lucas was inspired by The Hidden Castle when he was making Star Wars. Like, apparently it's like actually a direct influence. Anyway, Kurosawa is great.
Yeah, no, that's
story.
incredible. I actually have not seen Yojimbo yet, so I think it's on my list of things to do. I mean, yeah,
I recommend it.
Like
3 thumbs up.
Yep, 3 thumbs up. I saw one. But yeah, Seven Samurai, there's one I've seen, and yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, me too. Had to watch that in film school. It was definitely.
You went to
stuck with
film
me.
school? I didn't realize that. Oh,
It's sort of like so. I did my undergrad at Berkeley, and it was like a film studies, which is not film school. It's like we're going to study film instead of actually like making them. And so yeah, we had to watch much stuff like that.
So you basically, did you watch the films and had like write essays about them or like discuss them and stuff? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's fun.
Did not.
I had a
translate
similar
to a
college
job
class. I had a similar college class it was like the history of the Beatles or something. It was totally just like I'll show up to class and take my A, please. But it was actually really cool. I ended up learning a lot more than I thought. I learned a lot about the history of the Beatles, and I ended up like doing really well on the tests and forming a really deep appreciation for that band. So I'm glad I took that class.
Okay,
Nice.
yeah, that's cool. You learned something.
Yeah.
You took something with you for that one. It is
Speaking of which, did you guys see Colbert's final show recently? Any of you guys pay attention to that?
I caught a couple of the YouTube clips, but I didn't see the full thing,
I haven't
which is
seen
how
any
I
of it.
consume a lot of my
I'll lie, I think
evening.
Yeah, it's worth
Same,
going
yeah.
back and finding the YouTube and watching the. It was a great send off, good final show. I recommend.
I
checking
saw
it
he and Letterman throwing shit off the roof, which was,
That was a
good
pretty
one,
yeah.
entertaining.
out. Always
Yeah, I
nice to
see
see
that.
Letterman pop up somewhere.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, Letterman's great. Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure he definitely has opinions on this, on the whole Colbert firing
Oh,
thing.
he certainly does.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah, no, I'll have to go back and watch that. That'll be, that sounds fun. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk. We have a big week coming up with State of Play coming tomorrow, which I think Justin and I may try to live react to that. So stay tuned for
Nice.
that. And then I was thinking Summer Games Fest is later this week, right? It's at the end of the week. Do you have anything going on there, Gavin? Are you work? I mean, can you? Oh, guys, maybe you can't say anything about it, but are you working? Are you working? I don't know.
I'll be working.
You'll be working. Okay, cool. So a lot of stuff to come. we'll discuss soon. But the one news, I think the biggest news that is top of mind for all of us now is that Destiny 2, Bungie has announced Destiny 2's final content update on, I think it's June 9th, right? Is the next is the patch date.
Am I
And
pouring one out?
We got to pour everything out. It's an end of an era. It's a 12. Is it 12 years, right? It's 2026. It's come out
man.
12 years. 12 years including the alpha, or not including music box, whatever.
I mean,
12-year saga.
At the beginning, they were like 10-year plan, made it to 12.
Yeah.
That is true. I remember the 10-year plan, and they did make it past 10. So that's you. I mean, honestly, actually, I think was 10 the final shape, because that actually would have been a good time to end the game.
I think it was.
I played a little bit after final shape, but decided that was when I was going to part ways with it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's when you dropped off.
That's when you dropped off, yeah. But just real fast on the update, I mean, there's very long Bungie posts about this on their This Week in Destiny and their blog. I think I looked a little bit on the fan reaction on Reddit and like on some of the YouTube, and people are loving the update, right? I don't know if you guys have looked through the details. I mean, I read it, but I can't name off the top of my head. But there's stuff
Basically
like
just pulling out all the stops.
they're giving people what they want, basically, right? Like we have a Pantheon 2.0, which is like the boss rush mode coming back with all the raid bosses. There's I think everything's gonna have loot now, right? They're gonna bring everything up to speed with all the loot. So I think a lot of the old loot was not relevant in the game, but now they're gonna make every single like dungeon activity, whatnot, have tiered loot.
Yep.
The best thing at the very end of their of their post, Sparrow Racing League returns.
Which I did not like, but some people love
I know
that
it sucks,
stuff,
but it was fun.
apparently.
It was fun in
it.
like a
I
jiffy
loved
way.
it.
Okay. I mean, I liked. I wanted it to be Wipeout. It's not Wipeout. Wipeout
It's
is one of my
clearly
favorite
them trying to
games.
turn something into something that it wasn't designed to be. But it's kind of fun in its own way.
Yeah. But it's back. Sure. I mean, why not? If this is the last update, and throw it all the stops, put it all in there.
Yeah.
And then I think one of the bigger things also, they're getting rid of the portal, right? We're back to the old director, which, if anyone who's played the game is, the screen, basically the main menu screen of Destiny, where they all have the planets and you go and you pick your activity. They kind of, they did away with that for the last 2 years, inexplicably, for the system called the portal, which was, I guess, a really bad version of Diablo 4, where they have like world tiers and you gotta like do all these modifiers to get loot. It was really confusing. I don't think anyone liked it.
It was terrible.
But that's back here. But yeah, I mean, I think we want to spend a lot of time talking about Destiny, because all three of us have played so much Destiny. Gavin's clearly established his credibility with
working
on the team, but you've been playing. I mean, you played since the beginning, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
At the beginning, right? From the alpha, the pre-alpha, and
or pre-alpha, when it was just
pre-alpha.
hidden from everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Played ever since then. Yeah.
We've done all the raids, right? I mean, I feel like Gavin, we haven't played that much together you, me, and Justin together as a group. We had separate, I think, play groups for a while.
We did. Yeah.
Right. Like,
We did overlap often.
Yeah,
though.
we did
I
overlap.
know we did a lot of dungeons together. It was
Yeah.
what was the one that we were doing, the Wild West one? The cowboy
Oh,
one?
yeah.
last one.
Yeah.
We were trying to get the cowboy outfits. I forgot what the name
the
of it
tower.
was.
What was the name of the tower?
Wait, was that the Vex one where there's cow? Was that the cowboy one?
There was the big Vex Minotaur guy at the end with the electrical currents and the wall that we had to take down.
Oh,
Remember Prompt Critical?
yes,
Yes.
the prompt critical.
Yeah. Anyway, that one.
Oh yeah, the way. Okay, that's pretty recent. That's a couple years ago, right? I think that's fairly.
Yeah, I remember we were
3 or 4
playing
years
that
ago.
a lot.
Yeah, we did
us.
a lot of runs there.
I loved doing dungeons. I remember, man, Andy, remember Give
Spire
Ship?
of the Watcher.
Mhm.
That's what it
Spire
was.
of the Watcher.
That's what it was, yeah. Remember Give Ship?
Yes, give ship. Justin and I
Man,
were trying to
we
get the
did.
title for Shattered Throne for Destiny 2. Destiny 2.
You guys were torturing
How many
yourselves.
months were we trying to get that
It was
dang
months.
ship to drop, man?
It was months.
And we did
I
it
actually-
on all 3 characters every
Yep,
week.
every week.
For months.
I remember coming back from the company holiday party one December, Justin and I, and we left early because we were whatever, we were done with the party, and then we immediately went home and did our Shattered Throne runs. I remember that for sure because I think I got it that day, or one of us got it that day.
Oh man,
Just-
man! When we finally got that, I remember like even after getting way cooler ships in the future, I left that one equipped often
Oh,
because
yeah.
like I worked so
took the
hard
most
for
amount
that.
of work.
Tortured yourself for it. You might as well
Yeah.
keep it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that one, Gavin? Did you ever do go for that? Was that? I think we went for the
I don't-
title, right? Is that why we did that?
Yeah,
we did.
Curse
So I
Breaker,
don't-
I think it was right.
Curse Breaker.
I don't
That's
think
my
I
favorite
ever-
title.
I didn't get that title, and I didn't get the ship. So it's interesting. So my play group has shifted quite a bit over the
Mhm.
years, right? Originally, I
Mm.
had a small group that was like part strategic business development, part third party relations, like
so,
from
yeah.
the Sony crew, and then
Yeah.
a lot of them churned out, and then we would take like a couple of people that would then have their friends, and they would join, and it's like throughout the whole thing, it's like people would come and go, and we sort of found like a little group. So it's like I played with friends of friends for a long time, and we became friends, and they would turn out. But I didn't have a solid group, so I would do a lot of like LFGs, which was
Okay. Oh, yeah. I've done my share of those, but yeah, it's
yeah,
it
there
takes
was
us fortitude.
it takes a lot of fortitude. It takes a will, like the willpower to like want to play Destiny and do this content and power through some of the
Yeah.
crazy experiences you get with like random people.
Mhm.
You know, the dude who's playing in the middle of his like frat house with people playing guitar in the background and an argument happening over there, and them
You got to
trying to
really want
communicate.
that Vex Mythoclast.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
really had to. So
Is this when you're LFGing? Like, was this for like raids or dungeons or like
mostly like raids and dungeons.
raids?
Like,
Okay, because that's the hardest stuff to LFG because you have to talk to these people to like
Mhm.
get through.
Oh
it.
yeah.
Unless you
yeah.
find one of those dungeon duos who just like blast through the whole thing and gives the third
Yeah.
person an easy clear.
Yeah, that's
Occasionally,
that's
yeah.
a lucky one.
There was a
Lucky
few
find.
where it's like I had clearly there were 5 people that knew what they were doing, and I got added to it, and it's like some of the smoothest clears I've ever seen in my life. With these like pros that just needed some- Yeah, no problem.
No, yeah.
So-
no
so-
problem. Yeah.
So I did a lot of LFGs for the first
Sure.
couple years of like Destiny.
One or two.
Is-
We're talking. This is back in the one
this,
days.
this was
Okay.
this was back in the 1 days,
Okay.
and then eventually, like some friends of friends wanted to play, and they were all new and mixed experience levels, and so I sort of like Sherpa'd them into like the raiding experience that I'd been doing, and we sort of built up that team for a couple of years, and then Destiny 2 came out. I played with them a little bit, and then a lot of them churned, and then sort of like, I think Andy, you might have done one of the raids. What was the raid that was on Earth around?
Wrath
So,
Machine.
like, no, it wasn't Wrath. This
No,
was like when
that's-
Destiny 2 had started.
Destiny 2.
Where you had to kill this big mech. God,
Oh yeah, I know the one.
I should have written down all the
That's-
names of the
that's
raids and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we should have done. Yeah, there's been 29 seasons of this game, by the way,
Good
everyone. So
Lord.
like, it's
Ask me 2 years ago, I
20.
would have all these raid names like on
Yeah,
the back of my head.
because
but-
everyone. It's I remember the mech one because it was like the second small expansion of D2, right? It was like
Mhm.
one of the smaller ones.
Yeah, and I think that was
Yeah.
the first time I played with you, because you came in and you Sherpa'd our group through that whole
maybe I did that.
experience. And, yeah, and it was an experience because some of the team like were pretty good
Mhm.
mechanics, and like one of the guys that I played with, like probably one of the best PvP players I've seen, and some of the others, I'm just like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Scourge
Just not
of the
clearing
past.
anything. Just
Yes.
yeah, Scourge of the Past. Yeah, that was the one. And so I played with that group
Yeah.
that you played, and then a lot of them sort of like dispersed, and I would occasionally play with some of them, and then we sort of like started to have that overlap where the 3 of us would play together more often around that.
Yeah, I
year
think
or
because
two
I
after
think we may have been like the last people. I feel like we were like the last people standing for this game. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Gavin and I just outlasted Justin by a couple years, and Justin because
Mhm.
a couple years ago.
Yeah,
But I almost made it with you guys, but I
Yeah.
had to bail.
Yeah, the bill, but at least you got through the final. You didn't do Edge of Fate, right? You just did the final shape.
I bailed. I did like one season after Final Shape.
Okay.
But that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Final Shape was effectively the end of my time with Destiny.
So you skipped all the Echoes adventures.
The Echoes and I mean, I just going back to Gavin's point about kind of having different friend groups or work groups. Like, it's kind of crazy to think about when you reflect on it over the last like 12 years. Like, yeah, I started playing this game with some work people, but actually I played a lot with my college friends where my friends gamed more. Now they're parents and they kind of like gaming's like not even a priority. Like, I mean, I think you guys are still in the industry or / love games that much that you're, even as dads, still you're still playing games. But I've had a lot of friends who like, had just, don't prioritize that in their lives anymore. And so, yeah, we turned from like D1 to D2. And I think there's a certain point where it just slowly drops off. And like you find, new friend groups. Like Justin, like I started raiding with you and our good friend Chandler Wood from a couple episodes back that we had a guy on as a guest. And that's where the Discord, I think I brought Gavin in the Discord a few expansions ago. Yeah. Where we did some of the most recent raids, but they are, it's just, it's an evolving group it's an evolving social group. And I think it's crazy to think about this. I've known this game. I've known this game longer than a lot of people in my life too, right? I mean, if you think about 12 years, that's a long time. Like, of just life, right?
Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm placing bets with myself about whether your mic is actually going to fall or if you're going to manage to keep it upright this whole time. It's a fun little.
It's slowly descending, right?
Because we got going on here.
Yeah, I shouldn't be moving it because it's the arm is a little down there, but yeah. So I mean, Justin, have you been playing with the same group this whole time? I mean, we've been playing a little bit too, like throughout the whole this whole time.
I mean, I played with some different, like, I was part of like maybe 2 or 3 different kind of sub circles within Destiny. I played with some PlayStation people sometimes. I played with some Discord people sometimes. I played with some Reset era people sometimes. Actually, one of my formerly NeoGaf, then Reset era, one of my good friends, he goes by Colonel Corn. I met him because he listened to the podcast, the PlayStation podcast, and reached out one time when I was talking about Destiny, and we ended up playing together. And then we kept in touch, did a bunch of raids together. We ended up becoming friends. Like I gave his son job advice one time. Like we check in on each other. Like I met his son when his son was like probably 10 years old, and now his son is in college. It's crazy, man. Like making real friendships, like real lifelong relationships out of this game.
Yeah, that's good. I remember actually I introduced your friend Fox, Justin from Vegas.
Yeah.
He's operated a Discord channel that we kind of coordinate a lot of our Destiny with.
We kind of co-opted his Discord server to do a bunch of Destiny planning.
But he played a lot too, so it was like, but I've actually met him in person. I went to Vegas a couple times. I had lunch with him. So it was real.
I just texted him earlier, told him I hope he has a good week.
Nice. Yeah. But
it's worth doing that, by the way. And good reminder to just, if you're ever thinking of someone, wondering how they're doing, just text them. Tell them you're thinking of them. Tell them you hope they have a good day. It's nice to get those messages sometimes.
Always appreciated. But yeah, it's just, it's kind of crazy to think about all these people that you met along the way. It's literally, the real Destiny was the friends we made along the way.
It really was.
It is. So I've played a lot of like MMOs over the years, right? So like the first real MMO that I played was like EverQuest. I dabbled in like Ultima Online, but I played EverQuest. I was like 19 in college. Like when was it? 99 it came out. So it's an old ass game. And I still have like couple, like most I don't really talk to very often.
Yeah.
But one friend like from that era who I just text randomly, he sends me Big Lebowski quotes once in a while, like just out of nowhere. Like
that's awesome. Yeah.
And so it's super interesting. I've now known this guy since I was like 19. We both have like grown up and have like old children in the house and stuff like that. And there are very few types of games, I feel like, where you're sort of like making those types of connections with people where you're like playing and there's enough downtime to like chat and get to know other people and sort of become friends with. It's like really special things. Like EverQuest, World of Warcraft, and Destiny are like the only sort of like games that have fallen into that like category where I've got long friendships that I've had from people that I played from those games like years and years later. It's pretty nuts when you think about it.
Yeah, and I think part of it's obviously like has the quote unquote forced, I guess, co-op or forced, I guess, team play in Destiny, where like for the raids and dungeons, you have to find someone to play with, and a lot of times you actually have to talk to them. It's hard. Some of the games are, sorry, these encounters or these mission, what do you want to call them? These are they require coordination, and a lot of it's hard to do without talking to someone. So it is interesting to, I guess, yeah, if you have the LFG expense, you're literally making or you're meeting people for the first time. It's a really hit or miss thing, but there are some. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, half of my friends list on PSN is people we've brought in from LFG on Destiny, and like they got us through the thing. We got to friend them, or oh my gosh, GG's like we got to play again sometime. Blah blah blah. We never play again, but it's still like it's still that thought that matters, and some of them actually we do play with, which is fine, but it's wild, right? Like
I think I have a couple friends like that are like just met on LFG and D1, and like 12 years later they're still on my friends list, and I'm like, oh they're playing this game, they're playing like
they're
Cyberpunk now. It's kind of funny,
and it's interesting to think about. None of these I feel like none of these new games like engender this. Like I haven't had any recent game that I've really kind of bonded over this deeply into a game. And I don't, maybe it's because Destiny's kind of almost like a third place. It's kind of a thing where you like kind of you decompress. It's like playing golf with your friends. You kind of catch up. If you put like a low stress activity on, right, like a strike playlist, and you just shoot the shit for a couple hours. And it's like
it really was a
social
social place.
Yeah,
it was just a place to hang out and exist and feel like you're getting some kind of social connection.
Because everyone's kind of working towards it, same things, right? Or is it similar goals?
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the community of Destiny. If you look at online forums or look at some of the articles that are coming out, like it's really it is the Reddit. 5 people are grieving over it. There's like they go through like the community was in denial, right, for a long time that this was going to happen, and then they're like people are fucking mad, and now they're at like the barging stage where it's like, okay, well, hold on, if we all log on to June 9th, it'll send a signal. And I hope people never get to acceptance, because I'd love to see a Destiny 3 or some continuation of it. But
I mean, who knows? In the fullness of time, like there'll probably be some more things in that universe.
I would hope
we'll see. We'll never know. I mean,
but the universe means so much to so many people. It's been very interesting watching the reaction if you like zoom out and remove your own emotional feelings of it. And it is a fascinating like response that has happened from people that don't even play the game anymore. Sad to see it
come back. People are like, oh, I remember this when like this when this happened, and when he used to play the game a lot. Like even do you watch Jason Schreier's kind of a postmortem on the game? He had like a YouTube video. It's like 19 minutes.
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Justin sent it to me the other day, and I watched the whole thing. I was like, it's hearing him like talk about stuff we talked about, right? The beta, like kind of working, playing with their friends from 2015, 17, all that years. Like, it brought back memories. It brought back.
It's a really special game to a lot of people.
Yeah. I am curious to hear you guys. What was your guys' reaction to this news when it came out? Like when, for example, I saw the news and I was like, well, it's finally happened. I mean, I kind of was more like I was expecting it to happen, not in a bad way. Like I didn't want this game to end, but I'm kind of like, I'm kind of okay with it. Like I've had the 12 years of time with it, and it in a certain sense, a little bit of me feels like, oh, look, the shackles are free. Not that I was ever shackled to the game, but there was a time period where I felt like I had to do X, Y, and Z every week or every season or whatever before. And I think we've all been there where it's like the end of the season, you're like, oh, I got to finish the season pass. I think Gavin's probably there right now. But there, I mean, so there was a little bit of that, but like, the last couple of years, I haven't been playing the game that much. I think, it's just on the back burner, and it's not as I guess essential as it once was. So I feel like for me it was a sense of I guess acceptance is the word I would use of that, or just I was like, okay, well, it's time, but a part of me is also really sad too, because of all the things we just talked about, like these 12 years of memories. It's like no other game really, very few games that say, there's a scant few that kind of elicit this kind of actual human emotion from you and like kind of connection. And it's sad to think about that when you think of like an ending, right? It's like you're losing somebody, it's like losing someone in your life a little bit,
Yeah, it's crazy. I was really still like kind of surprised by the news, because I thought the game was making enough money that it seemed to be making enough money that it would just be kind of running perpetually. Like, but I
Yeah.
guess not. But I don't know. I didn't think that it was something that was ever going to. I thought there would always be something new going on in that world,
Yeah.
like whether it's Destiny 2 or Destiny 3, them just pulling the plug and saying like, yeah, we're done with it for now. Like maybe someday, but like, like that's crazy. Like and I mean, they haven't confirmed. Jason Schreier basically said they're not working on anything. So take that.
Yeah, they're pitching stuff. But,
yeah, however much you trust Jason Schreier, take that. But it's crazy to be in a world where there's not like a next Destiny thing coming down the pipeline, because I always thought that it was going to be just like something that's always there in the background, and if I ever decide I want to go back, like I can go see what's going on in Destiny, like yeah, it's when I first saw the story, I thought it was like a gag or something for like a split second, but then whatever outlet was, I was like, oh, it's legit. Like, what? I was like confused at first. Like, that
confused. Okay. Yeah.
Like, but then, yeah, like you said, like, I mean, and if you consider all the other things that have been happening in the industry over the past few years, like, it makes a little more sense in that context. I don't know. I thought the game was making enough money to sustain itself, but
yeah, I think it's almost. And Gavin, I want to hear your thoughts too. But to Justin's point, like I think it's like a mistake that they're not putting the minimum to maintain the game, because I feel like there can't be that much. I mean, even if they do,
well, I think they are. It's going to be like basically in maintenance mode. They're just not going to be making new stuff for it. They're not pulling the plug on the game.
They're not immediately pulling the plug, but it's like life support basically, right? You're literally
it's in maintenance
support
mode. Like you'll be able to go back and play the game. You're just not going to be. It's like Destiny 1 is now. Like you can play
but
it.
It's wild to me that they wouldn't even putting like the bare minimum to just make some some like little new content, right?
Or something
every year.
Like,
yeah, like put some minor new content every year just to keep it going, right? If you put enough to like charge $10 for a season pass, people would still pay it. I mean, I would probably
there are people who are going to who totally would. Like they just want an excuse to play this game.
Yeah, just
like that was me for a long time.
Yeah. So I think that's criminal, because that doesn't make it. I can't imagine how I mean, Gavin, you probably could know more about the inner workings of the budget and kind of how that. Well, I guess the feasibility of that, but to me, it just seems like it's something that easily could have been done had it been managed better.
Probably. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. I knew. Here's when I sort of knew like Destiny's really in trouble. When our mutual friend Brian, who plays almost more Destiny than anyone that I knew, that would be always. He would always be like so far ahead of me, no matter how much I played, like in terms of season pass and whatnot, and knowing how everything worked.
Hardcore, yeah.
Seeing when he churned out after Edge of Fate launched, dealing with the portal stuff and dealing with progression system updates, I'm like, this game's fucked. Like when someone as hardcore as that like churns out, and like I'm like, yeah, something is very wrong. So in some ways, I sort of expected.
Yeah,
I knew something drastic had changed, right, from the Edge of Fate era of the portal and just the horrible grind that it took that caused so many people to churn out and not want to be involved in the game anymore. Because the few stubborn holdouts like us, like it was very nice to see that. I knew they were going to have to make changes, and I was not expecting. I was not expecting them to pull the plug yet. I thought we had a couple more years at least. And oddly enough, like when I was mentioning EverQuest, the reason it was top of mind was because like right before this happened, I actually like downloaded that free to play version on Steam and was like, well, I'm going to go log into my old character from like 26 years ago. They were still there.
That's awesome.
There are like 27 expansions for that game, if you can believe it. Like, wow. They've released an expansion every year of varying size, right, for the small community that still exists in that game. And that had me thinking like, all right, it's going to be, we're going to get some small updates like once a year. Like I will log in and like for a long time when the seasonal content would come out, it's like even with, the Echoes saga before Edge of Fate, it was like, all right, I'll log in, I'll play for like a little bit each week, do the story elements, like play a little bit and experience like Destiny experience, like stay up to date on the saga. It wasn't much of an investment. I would play it. They would get my money for those seasons and stuff. And so I just thought there would be like, there's enough people that it's worth coming in, even if it's like once a quarter or twice a year, like a
twice
small
a year
little
even,
expansion. I would log in and I would pay my annual $80 or whatever they were charging for like a small expansion with a few extra little things just to keep doing it, because it's a hobby game, right? Like it's the type of game where like I will play it. I enjoy the mechanics of it. It's fun. It's comfortable. There's times where I'm like, I don't feel like logging in and experiencing a brand new game, but I will log into Destiny for an hour because it's comfortable to me and I know it and I know what I'm going to experience for that hour. And it's sad to see that is now gone. You know,
they're still making content for Final Fantasy 11. Like they ended.
That's wild. Yeah.
They ended like the main story, but then they were like, here's some more stuff anyway. Like, I don't know. We're just going to keep making stuff because I guess people are still playing it. So like I mean, I feel like they're also charging a monthly subscription fee. So I mean, that's a part of it.
That's something I think we could have. Well, I don't have to go too far into this, but I think they should have charged a monthly subscription fee for Destiny a long time ago. They should have made this a big
philosophical question that would be a whole other podcast. Worth of discussion,
I mean, that's someone's even not to debate this, but I think they should have went the full MMO route and gotten the funding, gotten the people who buy it board, because it's by all intents and purposes an MMO at this point. I mean, it has been for a long time now. It's not just a campaign game and lives. It's full on that.
They started fully embracing the MMO terminology like halfway through Destiny 2, I think.
They
did saying like, it's an MMO.
Then they should have embraced the revenue stream. But there's a lot of I guess hindsight stuff we could quarterback.
How many people are they going to lose entirely by introducing the friction of a paywall?
I mean. Not Gavin, did you have something to add to that, or?
I mean, so it's interesting when Fortnite did their subscription service, like for the I guess you can consider it the whale subscription service. So it's like Fortnite people that are super into it, like there was exploration of doing something similar to that, and I actually think it would have been a pretty decent revenue stream if some of the cosmetics and stuff they threw in there would have been interesting and stuff.
But then that would have riled up the community big time. Like, they're locking all the cool stuff behind this. Blah, 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 blah.
But people would end up paying it though.
People
the
would,
coolest stuff the community wanted to earn from raids, and they didn't want the Eververse gear to look cooler than the stuff they spent 200 hours grinding for.
Yeah, that was always the challenge, right? Balancing between, giving people an incentive to grind for something really fucking cool versus just taking the easy route and putting it on Eververse. And I do think one of the things that sort of killed the game is balancing a little too far into the Eververse. And from, if you look at using just publicly available data, this is nothing that I can specifically speak to as far as data that I know exists. But over time, the player base was dwindling and they got better at monetizing the remaining player base. And for a long time, the revenue was sort of increasing. But if you were looking at player numbers and, unique players per month, the math was going to fail sometime fairly soon.
Pretty soon it'll just be one guy keeping the game. It's Gabe Newell on his yacht playing the game, buying all the stuff in Eververse.
And so I think if I were looking at the data and seeing what's going on, I probably would have wanted to make some pretty drastic changes to a couple of different things, and opening up the funnel to new players in ways that they just didn't do. And it's just kind of sad to see that it was in the mode that it was in until it finally hit the breaking point where Sony had to make the decision that they made. It's too bad.
It's sad. So Gavin, what were your thoughts immediately? Just going back to the question of what was your immediate reaction to the news? Were you shocked, sad, accepted?
Yeah, it was a little bit of everything. I was in some ways angry, right? I was angry. What the fuck? This is something that I was it was mismanaged. Yeah, anger over mismanagement, anger over just a bunch of different things.
There's a lot of stuff to be angry about.
a lot of it's grasping at straws, right? I don't have the inside look into why the decisions were made. I don't have the inside look into how development costs are. I think there's enough publicly available data out there that shows it was challenging to update and challenging to bring new content in, right? And so if the engine was more optimized the way that Marathon seems to be, that maybe it would have been a lot easier to create new content. And there's some of the technical stuff that I know existed on PS4 that restricted what you could actually do in terms of content and how much content and the vault. It's content vaulting. If I think back and I'm wondering, like, man, if they would have like solved that problem the way like I feel an Activision probably would have, it would have, because Activision piles tons of
just
shit and breaks all
balloon
the
your
rules.
file size to 500 gigabytes like Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
Yeah. Like maybe like there's things that you could have possibly done that would have like solved the problems earlier on, that would have like overcome things that the problems that exist now. And hindsight is always 2020. There was a lot of business decisions that I know were made that seemed to make sense at the time. And not only that, you also have like just different forms of competition coming in for games themselves. Like a lot of people want to try new things. A lot of people are like stopping playing games to raise kids or stare at TikTok half the fucking day. Like there's more competition for people's and gamers' eyes nowadays than there ever has been. And it's just unfortunate that the decisions that Destiny had made over the course of time led it to where it currently is. And it's too bad.
Yeah.
It had a great run. I do think that if they wouldn't have implemented the portal and given people more of what they want, they would have seen less churn this last year, and there would have been more reason to justify continuing it in some sort of like, not just life support state, but new content coming once in a while from the people that had this as their hobby game. They could have made a little something if they had like just planned for that.
Yeah.
I will say that seeing this game like from pre-launch all the way through the end of the final shape, all the ups and downs, like the really high highs that we experienced, like doing raids, and then some of those really low lows when some of those bad decisions were made. I loved being a part of all of that for the decade or so that I was playing. Like, man, one of my favorite gaming experiences ever, just like watching Destiny make its impact and leave its impact that it left on the industry, seeing like all the things that happened, and meeting all the people, all the friends we made along the way, like you said.
No, it's a wild 12-year experience, right? Like it's just, and I don't think there's very few games that you can say can take you on that. Like, I mean, I know World of Warcraft is one of them for me too. I used to play World of Warcraft for a real long time. But it's just this like kind of happy, like kind of confluence of, not only like PvP where, people play like Call of Duty or Fortnite that for a long time now, but it's kind of a one-dimensional thing, versus this game has everything in it. You can play the PvP. There's co-op. They had Gambit, which is a mix of both, right? It's got a crazy like mix of both PvP and PvE. And it's just like a place you just go, and it's a first person shooter that has amazing gunplay. It's not just an MMO that's just you're clicking rotations. You're actually like using cool weapons and cool skills, and it feels like it feels like Halo. It feels like Halo back in the day. It feels really good to play. And I think Bungie still is the best at making a first person shooter feel fun. It feels great to play.
Yeah.
It's that no one's mastered the same amount of just responsiveness and gun feel and ability
I really
feel.
liked where the various systems were at, how they were all playing together, at least at the end of the final shape. All the different, like once you had the exotic class items that you could try, and like and prismatic. Yeah. Oh man, once that stuff started all really meshing together, I spent so much time trying to figure out like the perfect build, and then get that one exotic class item I needed. Like, and then just man, there was fun to be found in that game for sure.
Yeah, I can't tell you the number of games or amount of hours I put in Destiny just to grind out a specific title. Like this
amount of hours I put. Oh wait, no.
You can probably. I mean, I have like thousands of hours in Destiny.
What's the website? Wasted on Destiny, I think it is.
I think it's Wasted on Destiny.
Yeah.
Oh, we can pull it up right now. But I can say that there's no other game that I just grinded for hundreds of hours to get a stupid title for my character. Right? It's like it says. I think Reckoner is my most rare title, which was back in the day for Gambit.
That like at most people will maybe inspect your character and be like, oh, huh, and then like go about their day and not think about it again. Like,
yeah, it's like a status symbol for those people in the know, like these nerds who play the game for thousands of hours. I think you can flex on. That's it. But I wanted to get it, and this game made me wanted to do this, and I can't say that for literally anything. Most things in my life, actually, to be honest with you, which is but it's wild, and not only that, the other thing I wanted to mention too is that I remember all these weekends on the first week of raids where we want to get the raid jacket. Remember, like all this time where so back in since the Last Wish, I wanted to say there was Bungie has Bungie Rewards, which is their store where they kind of gate certain products on your in-game achievements. So if you did something in the game, you're able to buy like a memento to take in the real world, which I at the time it sounds like it's silly, but it actually is something that really motivated me and all of us too for those initial raid jackets. So the most prestigious thing you get initially was the raid jacket, which you had to, I think, defeat the raid in the first weekend of release, right? Or at first it was the first weekend.
It depended. Like each raid was different depending on the dates and where they landed.
They started on the weekend only, and then they increased the time just given sales. I think they wanted to make break even on on the number of orders. But at first it was just the weekend, and it became an actual real life status symbol that, hey, like you did the thing, that the hardest thing in the game. You and 5 other friends did that, and you have this cool jacket to prove it. And you
I
can
still have
around.
My Crown of Sorrows raid jacket that's a size too small from when we stayed up until like 2 a.m.
We stayed until I remember because we were going to E3 that weekend or that Monday, and we had I think Chandler actually had to go, so we had to like LFG somebody to fill a spot, and we were like trying to get the just one clear before Monday of our flight, and we finally got it. It felt like amazing, right? It's like
and then I never did that raid again.
Yeah, that was the least raid we've ever done. I've never done that raid because it was so made the trauma from that. But it felt good to like kind of conquer that mountain, right? And that's throughout the years, that's kind of been the big motivating factor for doing the raid the first weekend. And I remember I cared about less. I remember I had organized all those raids in the waning years of this. I remember you guys probably have been roped into playing it. But I
still wear my Garden of Salvation jacket pretty regularly.
Nice. Yeah. I have a couple still. I have all of them actually, which is the other thing I was going to say. I spent way more money at the Bungie store than most things and most retailers in general. Not just anything, just specifically anything is Destiny. Like I've spent way more money in raid jackets. I buy one every year. So it's like $150 every year and times that by 10 or whatever it is. But,
oh my God. So how many jackets did you have total?
I have all of them.
Closet.
You got all of them. Wow.
I have all of them except for, I didn't get Last Wish. Oh, when we started getting, I forgot when we started getting.
Oh, Last Wish was the first one, I think.
It was the first one. That was like impossible to get.
Really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like
that was the one that
Gato
didn't even get. That was 2402, right?
Yeah. No. It wasn't that. It was maybe it was the Crown of Sorrows one. That was the first one, but it was
Crown of Sorrows was my first one. I think that was the first one that both of us got.
Okay.
Because that was the one where we were like, wait, I think we can actually do it this time. Because it was like one of those goals that was like, we're not in that realm. But then
that was
at that
the
point,
raid
we
lair. Was that a raid lair? I think like it was.
I think it was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I didn't get the All right, Gavin, do you have any of these raid jackets, by the way? Do you have any of these? No, you have none of them. Wow.
No. So part of the way. So between family life, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I just couldn't justify like spending all day to do it. Like,
the time, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was always a factor of time. So usually it's like whenever raids would come out, it would be like right on the weekend, right? And that's when like got shit I got to take care of. I can play for like a couple hours in the evening, but it was never enough to like be able to like learn mechanics and overcome all like the hard challenges and whatnot. So most of my Destiny raiding has been like, I'll wait till the week after and they remove raid contests and there's some general strategies out there that we can use, and that's me. So I'd want to, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, I'm too old for this shit.
I mean, at this point, for sure. But like 9 years ago, maybe.
9 years, maybe I would have. It was like so. I do think I had a couple like early. Like I remember doing Crota's End like really early on, and I remember doing King's Fall really early on, but I don't think they had like there was no contest mode, and I don't think they had jackets back then.
The jackets were started D2, I think. Yeah, D1 there's no jackets.
Yeah, I had time back then, but by the time D2 came along, it was like, not going to have as much time as I wanted.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But I think I don't know. But for me, it was just like, it was a big time commitment. I would always take that weekend. I would literally block off the entire weekend, like 48 hours of just we're gonna be here for hours on end. I remember I had to order a pizza the night before just so I didn't have to like get up to eat. I could just heat it up in the microwave. I didn't have to like, make food. Just like, I gotta take a half-hour break, guys. I'm gonna do this. But it was the hardest. It was like one of the best feeling achievements in gaming, right? I mean, Gavin, you guys both played. I mean, you played FF14. Gavin played WoW and EverQuest. Like, it's like when you did like one of those raids and you could spend all this time with coordinating 25 people or 10 people, whatever the number is. and you finally do it. It's like, yeah, there's no better feeling in gaming, I would say.
Absolutely
no better
incredible. I mean,
yeah.
I still have recordings of like our guild killing Onyxia or whatever her name was in World of Warcraft.
Onyxia or yeah, Lich King. I don't know if you did the Lich King.
I stopped after, so I played really hardcore WoW for the first year. Like I was like guild leader and everything and coordinating raids and just I had to move on. Otherwise, it would have been trouble if I stayed. So
fair, yeah.
I put that on my resume for a long time. Like,
nice, that's a great. I mean, I would.
It was a conversation starter. So, but just didn't. I stopped. But I know what it's like. It's a great feeling. Killing Ragnaros for the first time with a team that you've been like fighting through Molten Core for long. It's an incredible feeling.
Yeah. And that's why I keep getting these rage jackets, because it's more of like a validation of the time I spent, like the feeling of validation and of getting the thing that's like, oh, I proved I did it.
Pride and accomplishment.
Yeah. That's, I would say like, I mean, again, it's only like World of Warcraft. Maybe it's, FF14 pre-Justin or whatnot, but I can count on one hand the number of games that would make me want to A, spend the money on that, and B, like actually do that. It was
Destiny and it was Final Fantasy 14. Like, those were the two for me. Yeah. Thankfully, I've escaped the clutches of both of them at this point, but they both like ended their major story arcs at almost the same time, which is crazy.
Interesting. FF14 is still going on though. I mean, well, it's still going on. There's still an expansion. There's still stuff going on.
It was the same thing where it's like, okay, the main story's over. Now we got to start a new one. But I mean, they're still doing fine. I don't think they're shutting that down anytime soon.
I mean, it's still making money for them. And I'll say this: I think I may have told you this, Gavin, but I stayed up all weekend. Well, I didn't actually play that much; it was not that big of a thing. But I finished the title for Renegades, which is the last Destiny expansion, just so I could buy the last seal. I bought the last pin because I was like, oh, this might be a collector's item because it's a Star Wars thing and it's the last one. And the deadline to buy was yesterday, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna get it done by these deadlines. It's the deadlines. Like, yeah.
What is the title for the Renegades season?
Renegade. It's cool.
It's just Renegade. Too. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a cool title. Yeah,
that is a cool one.
I actually got two titles. I didn't buy the other one, but the other one's Undertaker, which also is a pretty good title. That one's for doing the invasions in Renegades, which is that one's super easy. I did that in 2 days and 2-hour sessions each day. It's extremely easy. You just put you do the Imperial Behemoth and you do the revitalized one. You go in and you go in the Imperial Walker and you just destroy the other team. If they're not prepared for you, it's an easy 7 kills and you just It takes 2 minutes. These are 2-minute runs. Just as a tip, if anyone wants to do this before next week, I don't know if there's a deadline for this, but
I don't think
there's time. If I jump in now, I'll get started.
There is,
do it.
Do it, yeah. You got 7 days, 8 days.
Yeah, that's not happening. Too busy playing Forza. Forza Horizon 6 is so good.
But yeah, it's the last hurrah of Bungie rewards, I think, right? Because I think I actually looked this morning because I wanted to see if they actually did, stop the sales, and they did. Like all the rewards are retired as of this morning. It did say May 31st. I was like, is that really a title? But yeah, that's the thing.
Crazy,
so
man.
But yeah, it's wild. It's actually a wild commerce strategy too, where you gate like your product behind doing a hard thing in a game, and it's just I don't know how that worked out financially. I mean, I guess it did. Maybe it's but it's really cool though. It makes everyone who's earned it feels. I think you feel more, I guess, inclined to buy the thing, or it's a bigger draw to buy the thing.
Yeah, yeah. The game means a lot to you, and you want to show off your accomplishments. To me, it makes perfect sense.
Yep, it's a hobby game, as you said. So yeah, I just checked my time wasted on Destiny. I got 2,895 hours.
Let's see. I mean, how much of this is just idling and orbit?
A lot of it probably is idling.
It separates idling, I think.
Does it?
Yeah. I think there's like if you go through.
Mine says 2436 hours.
I am 2,196.
We're all in the same ballpark.
We're in the 2000s. I'm a little higher.
Yeah. If you go down, if you click detail, it'll tell you time AFK. I have like 900 hours AFK from.
I have 2,814 hours. So I actually did, but mine's split. Mine's actually 28 for like 2,800 for both.
Wow.
So I probably had 5 cakes.
2436 active time, 2170 AFK. So altogether, it's like 4,500.
Yeah, mine's 2895 active and 2814 AFK.
And then I've
Yeah.
got about 900 hours in Destiny 1.
Where's Destiny? Oh, is it in
It
this?
combines
it's
them,
Great
yeah.
out
Oh, it
further
combines them.
down. And I deleted a character with 47 hours of gameplay on it, apparently.
Oh, well, that's at least
Probably did that to
hours of
try and get an
gameplay.
extra batch of raid loot 1 week or something. Man, we did some crazy stuff for that game. Jeez.
Yeah,
The stuff we did for Destiny.
So yeah, this is a great breakout because you can see the breakout now. So we're showing like there's 28 seasons of Destiny. That's 20 that have been here. So this last season is Lawless 28th,
Man.
and yeah, every one of these I have like at least done the season pass, right? Like 100
couple hundred
whatever.
hours.
Like
Yep.
I think only the last two are the ones I haven't actually maxed out, which is I think 110 is now the max. I've gotten 100, but I haven't gotten to 110 on both of them.
You'll get there. You got 6 days left.
I am kind of done. I'm not. I'll just buy the thing next season if they let you buy with the Chronogs or whatever. But
interestingly, my most played season was Season of the Splicer, which I don't even remember being like super great. But I remember that activity being pretty fun. The one where you had to throw the orbs at the stuff. I mean, that was like that really narrows it down, right?
Yeah, throw the orbs.
The one where you got to
like,
throw the orbs at the stuff.
You just described most of Destiny.
Yeah, exactly.
I can share my screen, so I'll literally throw up my thing here. But it's crazy, like just to reflect on this and see everything. Right? Look at this.
I played a ton during Lost as well. Yeah. Oh, you played a lot during Arrivals.
Yeah. That's the interesting thing. Like you can actually, you can see the ebb and flow of when you play the game as much as your friends, right? Because sometimes there's seasons where I play the game less, and seasons where you guys play the game more, and it's.
Yeah, I almost kind of want to grab all these numbers and put them into a spreadsheet and see kind of where we overlap and like. It's interesting. You can kind of go back and kind of like map out like what was I doing at this period in my life? Like why wasn't I playing as much Destiny then? Yeah,
if you map out like the time period, you probably go, oh, like that year this happened or this year this happened. Like it's kind of crazy when you can map the game events into your real life events too. Right?
Yeah,
that's just, no other game can do that. That's so. That's wild. Yeah. But yeah, end of an era, guys. Really? Yeah. So we got to be that being said, there is one last update. You guys want to get on for one last ride? Just do the Pantheon. Do the.
I don't know. I don't think I'm logging back in, but I'll watch you guys if you stream it.
No, you want to go in for old time's sake?
We'll see. I have a second kid arriving soon, so
congrats.
Oh yeah, Gavin, I don't think you knew that, but that's a thing. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be able to sign up for Destiny times anytime soon.
Well, you'll be home a lot.
I won't have time to be. I won't have like 4 uninterrupted hours to do a raid.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we can do other stuff. We don't have to actually do raids, but
yeah, we'll see.
But we'll see. Yeah. Well, you're in, Gavin. Well, we'll see. We'll get back on there just to see what I'm going to log in to see what they do with like. I'm actually most curious to see how they end all the storylines because they did say they're going to try to wrap up some of the threads and
I think they said something about they're going to leave characters' stories in interesting places.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't
leave
know what
the
that
door
means,
open for whatever future stuff they want to do. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully someone does revive it's such a rich, like we talked this whole episode about rich worlds and lore and everything. This game
really
over
don't think
12
Destiny
years
is going to be gone forever.
I hope not. Yeah, there's enough of an audience that I think if they have something new, people are going to play it.
I think if they let it rest for a while, the excitement will build back up. And if they come back with something really compelling built on a new engine, then who knows?
Hopefully that's the case. But no, I mean it's got there's different management, there's different owners, there's different people in charge, and I mean everything ebbs and flows, so we can only hope. But yeah,
thank you, Destiny. Thank you, Bungie, everybody who worked on it over the years. It was a really special experience, and I'm glad that I got to be a part of it.
And thank you guys for being a part of that journey along the way. And then I guess the other thing about to do, Justin, is play Marathon, because I know we talked about this briefly, but Gavin and I have been Marathon for a while, and it's still good. We're separating this from the Destiny talk. It's separate games now. So,
is Marathon the kind of game that I could, like, at 9 p.m. when I'm feeling beat and I just want to like chill for a bit, could I boot it up and just like do some stuff solo, or is it the kind of game where it's really like you should be playing with friends?
You could do solo. I will say, if you wanted a relaxing evening, it's not necessarily relaxing.
Yeah.
Like it is like you will do a run and you will like, whoa, I killed like 3 people this run. I got some decent loot. And then as you're extracting, some fuck kills you from the bushes you didn't hear coming. And it's like, that was a waste of 20 minutes. Not only did I lose like all the stuff I just picked up, I lost all the stuff that I brought in too.
Yeah, for sure.
It can
I'm
be a
sure
little
it's a roguelike. Think of it as a roguelike.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like lots of high highs, but also I don't know if I want to deal with that level of frustration because
that's really the thing.
Yeah, again, it's a roguelike. You play roguelikes for 20-minute runs where you don't get anything out of it too. So I think I would say true. Have that mentality. It's
equating it to a roguelike is an interesting perspective. Yeah,
that is interesting. But
I mean, it's essentially true, right? Like there's some meta, but there's some.
It's exactly what you said though, Justin, because you will have high highs and you'll have low lows, and there will be like just bizarre things that'll happen where
that's the most fun.
So Andy and I were playing one evening, and it's like, oh, there's a sniper like that was shooting at us. We were hiding. We're about to extract. It was ready to go, and it's like, I'm just going to throw my smoke grenades down, and I was about to throw smoke grenades. Smoke appeared, and we all charge in, and Andy and Brian made it out, and I got murdered by some guy that like snuck up in the smoke, and like it just shit happens, and it was like so dumb. Turned out that was like one of Bungie's release managers who I know that actually murdered me, and then texted me afterwards asking if that was me. And
that you?
Weird stuff can happen in the game, and it's like that was like extremely frustrating at the time, but it's also really funny nowadays. But yeah, it's the type of game where you will have like, you're extracting, you found something like really amazing and your heart is pumping because you haven't seen anyone the whole time you're out, and you're like extracting, and then suddenly people come in, but you make it out, or you know, someone's trying to grief you and you like murder them right before they go out so they don't get it, and it's like you learn a little bit about yourself of like, wow, I'm the type of person that's going to murder someone and deny them loot when I could have just let them live.
That's funny.
But at the same time, it's also like the lows of like, oh my God, I just like, we had a couple matches where 3 matches in a row we would get through, almost complete our quest, only to get murdered like right at the very end, and it's like this was like this happened 5 times in a row.
But I wasn't mad. I mean, I was like annoyed. I'm like, we just hopped right back in. I was just like, it wasn't like, oh, it's backbreaking. It's I'm fuck this game, I'm out. You know, it wasn't rage quitting, but it was
it is interesting though that like I feel less pressure when I'm playing with friends, and it's more fun because like I don't really care if I fuck shit up, and Andy and Brian get mad at me for like pressing a button that alerts a bunch of troops and enemies to our presence.
Fat fingers so badly.
I don't care. Whereas like if I'm playing by myself, it's like a little more like I feel the frustration a little more. And so yeah, it is one of those games where I do think it's like better with friends. I don't like solo queuing like with group fills because it's like LFG, you never know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get someone who's like super hardcore into it, and I'll feel bad if I'm like taking in a base kit and someone's got a bunch of purple gear, and there's a bunch of it's worth trying, but it is, the thing is, it's, you know, not.
I'll give it a shot whenever
right?
I can get myself into that mindset.
Well, and I would say like but the positive is that your time commitment is only like what you want to make of it, right? Each run is separate, so it's not like you have to sit there for hours. It's not like a 2-hour raid. You can do a 20-minute run and be done with it, or you do a couple of those, and it is addicting the way you want to keep going. But yeah, I mean, but it definitely is more fun with friends. So yeah, let us know when you are have the mood, and I mean, I think we're all on the same time even, right? So post bedtime for your kid,
we're
and
all
like
Pacific.
I think we're all Pacific time, so that's, you know, could be a good time, but yeah, and they're also introducing some cool stuff this season. I think tomorrow, right? There's some PvE modes out there, or more PvE oriented modes that they're putting in there. So
cool.
More like sponsor kit modes where basically there's like little risks. So they're trying to make it a little more, I think, palatable to not as like super hardcore. So I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah,
twist my arm.
A shot. Yeah. Well, I think that really great talk. Is there anything you guys wanted to bring up that we haven't already? That Gavin, anything else that you wanted to get to before we say goodbye here?
No, I think I'm good for now, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been great chatting with you both and catching up. Justin, it's been a while since we chatted, so
it's great to see you, man.
It's been a pleasure catching up.
Yeah, thanks. Next time I'm in Seattle for PAX, I'll text you and look forward to
just text me.
my text again.
Yeah. This time I won't. There was a lot going on.
Gavin goes in phases. Yeah, that's it. But it's not. Yeah, it's
sometimes
not
I disappear for a week or two. You know.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, that's it for this time. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Please check us out on the web at sharedbytes.net and wherever you get your podcast. Gavin, is there anything you want to plug? Any like social media handles or any games you want people to play or any things?
Go play Probably Monsters games. We've got a game coming out sometime soon that was in state of play that we're pretty excited about called
What's it called?
Moon. Crimson Moon. It is an action RPG with a heavy metal gothic soundtrack. It's gonna be pretty cool.
What RPG? Sorry, what kind of RPG?
It's like an action RPG.
Oh, action RPG. Oh, yeah. Like a little Diablo, maybe like hack and slash.
Think about it's got more like Souls-like combat, but it's not really a Souls-like game. Third-person action style, heavy melee combat. There's a little magic thrown into weapon abilities and all the cool stuff that you would expect, like that's sort of in a Souls-like, but it's not really like a Souls-like in terms of difficulty and
that's good.
frustration. And it's co-op, so you can play with a friend.
Oh, co-op, yeah. We'll hop on there. Wait, so Crimson Moon. Crimson Moon, and what platforms?
It's going to be coming to every single platform you can think of, aside from mobile.
Nice.
So
aside from mobile. Atari, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so PC, console. Hop on there, wish list it, go buy it.
Yes, do it. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's coming out. We'll have announcements fairly soon.
Nice. All right. Well, we have to give that a shot. It sounds fun. All right, and then so and everyone else, listeners, thank you again. Let us know on the socials if you have any thoughts, questions, or feedback, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.